Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet's worldwide and time zones are indeed still a thing. Can I get a quick audio check in the chat? And as I've got a guest on as normal, I'm not going to go through all the normal hellos, but I will put comments up on the screen to recognize that you're here. And I thank you so for turning up again. It's a duck, quack quack, is telling me that there's good audio, which is always good. And with no further ado, I will introduce my guest for this evening. He's been on before. We had a really good conversation, expecting this to be just as good. Al Mac, what about you, sir?
Brother 42, what a pleasure to come back again. Can't believe you've you want more of this madness that I've got on offer.
Yeah,
Amazing.
but it's good. Yeah. It's good madness.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and even better when you were there. Yeah. So, hi everyone in the chat. I can see you've got Sensen already said hello. Rags back again, Packer. Yeah, a few people in, so nice one. I'll be catching up on Sensen stream because I had to spend a bit of time with the missus, and I popped in to say hello. There's Steve Craig, Ugly Truth. Yeah, not a few nice ones in there. Yeah, so me and you have both been on, not together, on a vacation since we last spoke, haven't we?
We have indeed. Emma G and I, who hopefully will turn up in the chat shortly, because after Emma G and I went away, she went away with her kids. She went over to England, but we were on Loch Earn on a very fancy pants boat, and it was fucking lovely. Yeah. Apart from the weather, we had Northern Ireland's famous liquid sunshine for most of it, which didn't help. But other than that, it was very good. What about yourself?
Yeah, it was really good. Well, I saw a picture of your boat, but before you went away, I was wondering if you got any holiday snaps of it there. It did look wicked. I've done Norfolk Broads 3 times, and just loved it. And the last time that I did it was when me and my current girlfriend got together, and we'd had a very, very stressful time. It was a bit sordid and everything, so I won't go into it too much, but we needed to get away. And funnily enough, the boat that we had was basically, it wasn't as good as your boat, but it was basically like a 4-poster bed on the water. So you just had patio doors either side of it, steering wheel at the front, a motor at the back, and that was basically what it was. But it was exactly what we needed. It was brilliant, and I sort of, I do envy it on the lock. So it sounds fantastic.
I'm not sure if I can get this to come up. Right, hold on. Yeah, there's one I can't get.
Why are you doing that? Actually, I heard Emma G said that you didn't get your deposit back because you kept crashing the boat. Is that right?
No, actually, we did get the deposit back. I was quite. There was a bit of a panic on about the deposit.
I bet there was.
Yeah, there was, because the deposit actually was not cheap, right? There was a 900. Yeah, there was a 900 quid security deposit in this.
It's probably 30 grand boat, wasn't it? Well, I don't know what state it was by the time you took it back.
Yeah, it was. Here's the interesting thing. See, driving about from here to there, that was fine. You could you could do that all day, every day. It was great. But see, parking the bastard. Oh
Yeah,
fuck, that was an absolute nightmare.
yeah,
And
I know. Hi, Emma
yeah,
G.
oh
I know I'm
mate,
taking the piss, but I've been there myself, and keeping the thing, especially if it's front steering, front steering wheel, and you're constantly for the first 2 or 3 days, then you're constantly correcting yourself because you're just fishtailing up and down the water, and you keep you overcompensate, don't you? So you turn it to the left because it's going that way, and then you're like, oh, we've got to go that way, and you just anyone behind you can tell that you're a newbie.
yep. You slow down the dock because you don't want to just whack into the pier, and the steering just decides to do whatever the fuck it wants. It's like it goes the opposite direction. And I'm like, this is making no sense. No, I'm going to attempt this. No, no, I can't. The the bits that I've got are on Telegram, and right. If I do this, hold on, hold on. We might actually have a bit of a result here. Ah, this doesn't really show you the boat. To be fair, there's a bit of swanage. Uh, no, no. Right, that's just a picture. Oh, it's a place called Bell Turbot.
Oh,
If
right.
I can, yeah, that's her there. It
Right.
was quite the fancy pants boat.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fantastic. Um,
Yeah, I'm going.
I mean, I
Yeah,
mean, we. Oh, sorry, go on, mate.
yeah, no, I'm going to get that knocked off before I show something I'm not supposed to show or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, now where are we? What the? We're still right. Yep, right. Okay, we've got past our technical difficulties.
Yeah, I was just looking at laughing at one of Budgie Burger's comments about London accent. Chaz and fucking Dave. I'm sorry if I sound like Chaz and Dave. I'm sorry, I can't help that.
Oh no, that's all good.
Brilliant.
Uh,
Yeah, cool.
if Budgie Burger's not taking the piss out of you, you know
Yeah,
you're doing
yeah.
something wrong.
No, that sound. Yeah, he was talking about how he used to be a bass player. Now he's into drum machines. Said, well, that's natural progression, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so with a very good time. So how did everything go? You were New Forest.
Yeah, New Forest. A girl that my missus works with owns 2 cottages down there that she rents out as holiday homes, and they're dog friendly. So we went to the smaller one before. I think it was just before the pandemic, and so we went to the larger one this time, and it's just lovely down there. It's Milford on Sea, great. Fucking expensive though, I have to say. So I'm taking the piss a little bit. I don't mind going somewhere nice and if it's a restaurant or wherever, and it's quite a bit pricey. But that's doing things like 250 grand fillet steak for 40 quid. That's taking a piss a bit, isn't it? But that said, it was really good. Um, and I can't see what for years, for about 15 years, we used to go to Portugal to her sister's villa. It's an amazing place, but that's sold now. Um, and my mum's quite old, so she used to look after the dog while I was away, but she's too old and frail to do that now. So it looks like we'll be doing a few staycations, and I think next year we might be popping over to Ireland because her family from Cork. We haven't been over there for a while, so we might be popping up for that Ulster fry sooner than you think, mate. It could be happening. You never know.
Oh fuck, that
Yeah.
that would be that would be excellent, mate. I
Yeah, we
would.
do a little tour, with a dog and stay at dog friendly places and all that. Mate, and we'll be taking you up on that. And like I said, I'll pay. So
Yeah. Well, you can get breakfast. I get lunch. We'll do
sounds good.
we'll do the Belfast mural, peace wall, all that good,
Yeah,
interesting stuff. Thrown in
brilliant.
between.
And we was had a few emails back and forth there. We
Yeah.
talked about George Best and
Yes.
Belfast's most famous son. And so you were
Yeah.
just around the corner from where he was from, weren't you?
My uncle played in the kids team with him.
Wow.
Yeah. My uncle my uncle played outside right. He played inside right. Uh, is the house he grew up in is uh, I would say 2 mile up the road from where I grew up,
Yeah,
and the football pitch that they redone and the redone. There's a pitch in the middle of Craig Estate where he grew up, and after he died, they all that pitch got all sort of redone up and developed, and they put a fence around it and whatnot. Uh,
right.
so there's that to see, and again, you go a little bit further up the road, and you come to the House of Orange Museum where you get the good Ulster fries.
Yeah, that's it. I'll send some. Yeah, I'll make sure this sauce, mate. Yeah, if 42's paying, I'll make sure it's chips and sauce, 2 course meal. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Oh fuck no! We'll go to the house.
He's been to Belfast before, hasn't
Yeah, Sanson's been to Belfast.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, but well, that's the other thing. Sanson was going back and forward to Belfast before we were really in touch. Uh, but if he ends up back over here, I'll be going for a fry or something with him as well. Like so, that'll be all good.
Yeah, it's got
One
to be done.
second.
Well,
Sorry, I have the cough there.
that's all right. Did you have you heard of Dunstable, the town of
Dunstable.
Dunstable? Yeah, it's
I've
right
heard.
near Luton. They kind of sort of join each other really. There's no really start and
Yeah,
finish. All right.
yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, Dunstable Town. I think it was after he did he leave Man United. I think then his next club was Dunstable Town, and their ground is about 2 miles from where I live. And yeah, about 1974, I think it was. So George Best famously played for Dunstable Town. I don't think he was there long.
Yeah, that that would be like something we would do. Yeah.
He was an unconventional fellow, wasn't he? I mean, I mean, I know I said to you in the email as well that I was lucky enough to meet George Best on a few occasions. I used to play in a place called Dover Street Wine Bar. It's just off Piccadilly. It wasn't really a wine bar; it's a restaurant, really, and a music venue. They'd sort of call it like a jazz. They thought it was like an underground jazz club, but it wasn't really. I play no jazz down there. And George Best there'd be a lot of celebrities in there. It was one of them sort of nouvelle cuisine. The food was pretty good. They used to feed the bands as well, give us a bottle of wine after everyone had got up. Now, George Best was in there. We had a residency there, by the way. I think it was every Thursday night for a couple of years. And you often see other football players and media people in there. And George would be in there with Alex, and they always had the same table. Steve Clark, born in Luton Dunstable Hospital, yeah. I used to live just around the back of there. Can't remember the name of the road now. Lime Avenue, yeah, just around the back of the hospital. And and he'd be there, and Alex was genuinely straddling George at the table. But he was a lovely guy, and yeah, it was that kind of place, And it was a strange place. As soon as you start playing, so you wait, you wouldn't start playing until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So it's basically we wait till everyone's stopped eating. As soon as the first note that the band plays, without fail, the first note that you play, the dance floor is full. And there were some sights as well. It was quite often the girls would be flashing their underwears wears at you,
Yeah.
the musicians. I think they were getting a thrill out of it because maybe they're sort of rich husbands or whatever. Or, oh, I'm presuming they were. Maybe they were rich, but yeah, I think they were getting a little bit of a thrill out of flashing at the staff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yes, I can imagine that. So you're halfway the eyes wide club, right? Put my teeth back on, eyes wide shut there, but that sort of a scene.
Yeah, they're always winking at you.
Yeah. Uh, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, and the other thing that has happened. Oh, before I go any further, I need to do the show notes. I need to do the share outs. Uh, where am I? Right. Yes. Sansom sorts out. See the way there's a bunch of us who all do the shout outs for each other. Sansom organizes that. Without him, this wouldn't happen because he sent me a thing. So tomorrow on Riding Orange Spears channel at 7 p.m. Rags and Jack will be chatting to Chris Thrall, the guy that does the podcast, ex-Royal Marine, very interesting guest. That'll be good. John Davidson normally streams at 9 p.m. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. However, John has not been well. I've seen something on the chat there that he could well be on the main. I'm hoping that's the case. Best wishes, John. I'm not sure whether or not he'd be streaming or not, but always on our thoughts. And the other channel I like to give a shout out to is Dave's Waffle House, who is currently streaming most evenings at 8:30. Really nice channel. He comes on, does an hour and a half, 2 hours, a lot of interaction with the chat and a bit of waffle. It's always good crack. So you can give that a shout. The other thing I would say is very warm welcome to everybody that arrived here via Sansom Toffee earlier. And if you arrive from my show and you don't watch whatever Sansom's doing, sometimes on his own channel, sometimes Bonnie Lad News, you're missing out, because if you like my stuff, you will also like their stuff. And that's the shout out. See, and now we will, now we will continue with our scheduled broadcast.
Yeah, well, we did schedule some of it. And I can't even. I have got some notes scribbled down of stuff that I want to talk about, and I think you still got them as well. So we'll get through it, I'm sure.
Yes, but what I didn't do was I didn't stroke out or put some beside the topics that we already covered.
Well, that's all right, because I'll remember. I do remember, and I think the next thing, I think Berlin or Bust was the last. Or no.
Yeah, we did Berlin or Bust. We did Machine Guns and Papadons.
Yeah, we skipped it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we did the Machine Guns. Romania Moonshine.
Yes, yeah, we could go into that. Yeah, rock out, you cock out. Right, yeah. I'm also going to include, because I've forgotten all about when we played in Hereford for the SAS.
Yes.
I'm going to tie all that in, so you'll get a picture of that. Just have a look at this sheet. Okay. Right. Basically, what this is about, the used to have a lot of, and I'm sure they still do, but money was no object for the British military balls, so the summer balls and the Christmas balls. That's toffee, aren't they? And so we'd often go on a 2-week tour, say Germany, something like that, and do a lot of the military balls. And there'll be, oh man, I tell you, they're amazing places.
Was this like the soldiers' Christmas dinner?
Yeah, you do the squaddies ones, but the officers' balls was something else, something completely different. I'll explain a bit what they were like.
Oh yeah, I know the difference.
Yeah. I mean, there was stupid stuff. You'd have like an ice carving of a mermaid on a table, and on that table would be fresh whole salmons. You'd have a chicken made out of butter, a full-size chicken made out, and you'd have like a separate champagne bar. And I think I'd already mentioned my sort of liking for champagne. So you would just go in there and not get a glass. You just go and ask for a bottle, and that's it. So I think I'd have about 3 bottles on the go at any one time, in various stages of fullness. And anyway, so this is basically the same band as I was talking about before, where we had the girl from Hot Gossip. I think the guy from God, what was the name of that band? I forgot the name of the band. The guy was from 80s band. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think he'd left by then, and we had Scotty. Now this is another Belfast guy. This is another Belfast connection. He was always in the band, but it was him and the guy from, what were they called? Then Jericho, that's it. So we had 2 male singers, a girl singer. The Then Jericho guy had left. I think that when we were doing most of those sort of summer and Christmas tours, and now he was from Belfast, right? He was a Bushmills man, right? He knew how to drink. He was a hard drinker. My Scottish family, I was nicking my old man Scotch from the age of 8 years old. So we knew how to, we could hold our own with the liquor. And what you'd sometimes get there, you'd be up at the bar at the end of the gig and you'd be talking to the lads around the bar. And they would try and test you a little bit because they think you were just a load of musos, and they thought they were tough guys. And out would come the booze. And on one particular occasion, they'd been on manoeuvres and training somewhere and brought back a whole load of this Romanian moonshine. It was kept behind the bar, and it only come out on special occasions. And it was evil, it was poaching, it was that kind of nasty gear. It was, you'd be blind after 3 shots of it. But there was the keyboard player that was in the band was a young lad. Tell him what you, he wasn't as smooth as that, I'll tell you. He was a young lad, and we were at the bar, and he was getting absolutely scuttered. And he said to me, Al, help me get to the toilet. I've got to piss. So I said, that's all right, I'm going as well. I know where it is. I can't make that. So I sort of made sure he was keeping up on his feet. Took him to the toilet. So I'd had a piss. He's having a piss. And I thought I'll just wait outside for him. I thought, just make sure he knows his way back to the bar. And he comes out, everything's fine. And we're walking down this long corridor, and these women in ball gowns and stuff like that, they're all pointing at him. Going, oh, what's it? And there he is. He hasn't put his cock away. So he's got this little white, well, I'll say little, it was, it was a reasonable size, but it was white, very, very, and it stood out against his black outfit that he was wearing. And he was absolutely hammered. So went back and had a few more as Romanian moonshines. And they asked us to do another set. We were wankered by then. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. So we went up and did. We were all hammered by then, a lot of us. We went up and did another 20 minutes or something like that. And he had the keyboard. His keyboard's on the left-hand side of the stage. I would just be to the right of him. And he was so wankered that, and the stage was quite high. And he just fell off the stage, and all his gear went down with him. He brought his keyboards down with him, the stand went down with him. But the worst bit about it was that he landed on all the DJ's gear. Now, right, and smashed all the DJ's gear up. Now, the DJs on these tours are working for the same agent as well. He wasn't around at the time. He'd gone off to bed, lightweight. So obviously we're staying over. We always stay over it on the basis. And, so you come back to the carnage in the morning after breakfast, and he caused a load of shit, tried to get us off the tour, get his gear paid for. I think we had to pay a few £100 for a repair of one of his decks or something like that. It wasn't totally wasted. So something was definitely damaged, but yeah, so that's the kind of thing. So let's get a bit of water there. So this leads on to SAS base in Hereford. And when I told you about this, you said, "Oh, you're at the blah 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 base," and I thought, "Oh,
Starting lines.
right." And I thought, "Oh, I don't know. It was too long ago, but I'll Google it." Um, and I had a look. I thought, and no, it wasn't. So that Sterling Line's base opened in 2004. So this would have been about 97, 98, something like that. So it's the previous base. So if anyone doesn't know, that original SAS base was basically, it was in the middle of a housing estate. So it was just like, it looked like you'd have a junior school in the middle of a housing estate. That's where it was. It wasn't hidden or anything like that. It was just, so it was the one before, yeah, the Sterling Lines, um, which I think was slightly out of the town a little bit on the outskirts. So there's me and Scotty again. Scotty's at the bar. He's talking to a couple of the SAS lads after the gig. Um, and out comes the whiskey. Me and him are drinking. What's the one of the well-known Irish whiskies?
Bushmills.
No, no. He's a Bushmills man. There wasn't any Bushmills there. Um, very, very common. Really, really nice.
Oh, this is where my knowledge of whiskey's going to let me down.
Anyway, I can't think. But the SAS lads.
Johnny Walker's Scotch, isn't it?
No, that's Scotch. And someone must know. That, Jameson, yes.
Yep.
Jameson.
Right, Jameson.
That was it. All right. So I like a drop Jameson. There wasn't any Bushmills there. So we were drinking we were not paying for any of this stuff. And or it was heavily subsidised, yeah. So these couple of lads, one of the lads was quite short, and he was being a bit of an arsehole. He was getting quite drunk, and he kept saying to Scotty, he kept calling him, "You Fenian bastard." But and he was going, he's not. He's Belfast. He's Protestant.
Yeah.
So we'd have a few more drinks, and this guy was getting pretty wasted, and they were drinking some bells or something like that. But because we didn't like that stuff, we were drinking the Jameson. And he going, "Yeah, you're drinking this Irish whiskey, you Fenian bastard." And he kept saying, "Scotty, you Fenian bastard." And he had the most softest sort of Belfast accent. But anyway, but yeah, this went on for some time, and in the end, the guy just hit the deck, and his mate pulled him up, and off they went. So we did them. We did the SAS, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we out whiskeyed them. Not a problem, you know.
Yeah. The problem is that fucker would have got up and run 7 miles the next morning without a problem.
That's true. We were running to the bog to pray to the God.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's quite strange. It's quite an interesting story in that there's not a lot of people get to be anywhere near those guys whenever they're on their downtime.
That's it. I think a lot of people would be surprised. You'd think that the SAS base was going to be some secret, location in the middle of a forest in Herefordshire, but no, it's right in Hereford. I think it's slightly out of town. When I looked at Google, it didn't look like the same sort of location. It was right in the middle of a housing estate, like it was a scout hall or something like that. It was mad.
Yeah, although anybody that goes to that location to try to cause problems has
you wouldn't, yeah. You wouldn't even get past the security gates, would you?
I was reading a book. I've been reading about a guy called Raymond Gilmore, who was a undercover agent for the police in Londonderry, and they got him to join the INLA, Irish Nationalist Liberation Army. Then he left that. Then they got him to join the IRA, and he was feeding them back information. And then whenever he gave him information that was going to, there's no way that he wasn't going to get caught, so they pulled him out of it. They took him all to court. The case collapsed for some nefarious reason. But what I found quite interesting was how the IRA in Londonderry and the NLA got their transport was they would just go up to somebody in a random car and go, yeah, IRA, INLA, we want your car, and hijack it. And the amount of them that got killed because they attempted to hijack cars off undercover SAS guys was off the fucking walls.
Jesus. Yeah, I bet. Madness. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, for all I know, I mean, he was quite a short guy, this guy. Yeah. Like, maybe he works in the motor pool or something like that. If there's such a thing in space. But they, from what I can remember, it was quite a while ago. From what I remember, they were SAS lads, and they wouldn't really been at that do if they weren't. But I do remember thinking that the one that eventually fucking his legs went under him. I do remember thinking he ain't very big for us, yeah. But I'm sure if we were in a ring together, that'd be the end of it, for me. So
it's actually quite strange. They're very big on stamina. They're very big on fitness. A lot of them are ex-paras that don't have a very high height regulation to get in. The big difference between special forces operators and the normal population is an inhuman level of determination.
Right.
That's the big fucking they're part of selection. Although having said that, selection's changed. Billy Blocks. A lot of paras transfer into the special air service. It really shouldn't be a shock to anybody. But one of their selection things is they go on this like 12-mile hike out a certain spot. It's a route finder thing. You've got your map, you've got your water, you've got everything that you need and the minimum weight that you have to carry. And
piece of piece.
Whenever they set off, they're told you're going to X point, which is I think it's 14, 15 mile away. Whenever they get there, they get to the last point, it's all timed. And another, by the way, not a soldier, not a professional soldier. I just read books about this shit. So, right, I want to make that clear. I'm not having
you don't do 14-mile runs in the morning.
No, I don't. Never have. Not a fan. But no, it's not pay my fan. This is before they get to pay my fan. That's the last. That's the last one they'll do. But whenever they get to where they think is the end, they go, okay, you've just blew up their marble factory. Would you like to make your way back now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of them go, saw this, and check, because you can check out a selection anytime you want. Right? You just go, right, no, fucking done. And they go, right, okay. They get you back to the base. You get your stuff, and the next morning you're on a train back to your original unit.
That's it. That separates the men from the boys, doesn't it? That kind of shit.
Yeah, but that's where a lot of them go, yeah, no, fuck this. And a lot of their selections based on pure fucking determination.
That's it. Do you know, look, I've written down Jameson's on this piece of paper. What's the name? What's the name?
Yeah.
I knew that would happen. I knew I'd forget the name of it. That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah, This is where another military anacron comes in. The 6 Ps. Have you heard of
Go
that?
on. No, I
Proper
might.
planning and preparation prevents
Ah,
poor performance.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I think that just proved it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Brilliant. Oh, but by the way, I know a few of you guys in the chat there. You know Urba Derba. I've been in contact with him lately. He might be listening in or catching up tomorrow. Um, he wanted me to tell everyone that he's been having a bit of a rough time. I don't think I'm saying anything that people wouldn't know. That everyone knows that he lived in Italy. Him and his girlfriend moved to Spain. That didn't work out too well, and the plan was to go back to Italy. I don't know whether they're back to the same sort of area or not. And he said, I think he wants to get back to doing some content, but just wanted to let everyone know that that's why nothing's gone on his Telegram page or anything like that. But I know we've got a track that I did with Urba Derba.
yeah,
But also want to say, if people don't know already, you got to go. I mean, we can't play it on here because that'd be in your channel. But there's some great tracks. If you go to his webpage, urbaderbamusic.com, I believe it is, and there's a track, and I think it's the one after Vax Free, called Silent Screams, and I just for everybody, at some point to just go and listen to that. So you can go on his webpage, you can stream any of the tracks. I know he's played a lot of them on his when he used to have a YouTube channel anyway, or Odyssey channel. But yeah, Urba Derba is superb. You just got to listen to Silent Screams, man. It will just, well, I can't say any more really. But yeah, he's a very talented lad. Yeah, so and I'd said to him at some point, beforehand, I said, if you want me to help out on anything or do bass on any track or anything like that, I'll be happy to collaborate. So a couple of months later, he said, look, I've got something I want you to do. And he didn't tell me what it was going to be, but because if you know, if you've heard of Urban Derba's stuff, most of them, the tracks that he's done are kind of pastiche of something that you already know, but he does it so cleverly that you'll know that it's supposed to sound like, you'll know the track that it was meant to sound like, but he changes it, he'll change a chord or something like that, or just reverse the chord structure or something. So it's not the same, but you'll know what it's meant to be. So when he sent me the backing track, he said, well, what it's going to be, he said, have a listen to Freedom 90 by George Michael. Then he sent me the backing track that he had done without any vocals on it. He said, I won't tell you what it's about, there's no lyrics or anything like that. So I listened to the George Michael track. I got some of the sort of nuances from the bass line, and I kind of did something similar to the backing track for Vax Free. And so I sent him the bass line back. He was delighted with that. Then I heard the track, and it's so good, and it's quite a good video with it as well. So I think that might be good time to give it a little while. Over there, you still got 42. You still got that. I sent it to you downloaded, didn't I? So you didn't have to look for a
yeah.
link.
The uh, the Urban Derber stuff. Right.
Yeah, it should be a video.
No, 1 second. Uh, boom, 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 boom. Right. Where are my timestamps?
Is this the
Right.
PPPP?
Right. Okay. Right. Right. Yes, I've got the Urban Derber stuff was the first thing that's on it. Right. I will get that up now. Because what I did was I downloaded them all onto a uh, YouTube channel and made it private. Because see, getting as you seen with whenever I was trying to get the the pictures of the boat up, right? Getting stuff that is not on a YouTube. Like, yep. Right, here we go.
So it's just easy to share that way, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
gotcha.
so much.
Gotcha. I'll stick that in the end. I'll just pop down for a sneaky snout.
Right. Okay. 1 second. Fucking box that up. Right. Nah. Where's that coming up as? Right. 1 second. Right. Nah. All sorts of stuff's coming up here now. This is fucking nuts. Right. 1 second. I should have this. Right. That's it.
And so, as time goes by,
Just checking, is this a bit you're after?
Yes, mate, that's it.
Yeah.
It starts with a little interview that I did with him. That's it. That's the video.
Right. How far am I playing this through to? Just the end of this video bit? Yep.
people who are in the clearest, most simple situation, the sort of the people whose situations are actually clearer than
yeah, just the end of the song.
Yep.
It should only be a song. But you'll know when it is when the song ends.
Yep.
And I think what you've got is a bit longer, but yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Earth is back one more time. Holding on. Keep it strong. All alone. We got them wrong. All the papers say that to keep our country safe, we got to get injected 3 times, and that is the only way. So many have obeyed as they're constantly afraid of a virus with a 99% survival rate. But some of us can see before our eyes that we've been told a great big pack of lies. We've become all kinds of things. They say we're irresponsible and we should be ashamed. The time will tell and we will see that the ones who stay the strongest and stay healthy are gonna be the most free. Some leaders of the world have shown their desperation. They've introduced all kinds of rules and crazy regulations. Like Ron wants to finish us off, Gunner wants us all up top. Now they say it's more than enough. We know that that must be stopped. Even some who had the job can see that we should have gone for herd immunity. We've become all kinds of things. They say we're irresponsible and we should be ashamed. The time will tell and we will see that the ones who stay the strongest and stay healthy are gonna be the most free. Got to hold tight, 'cause we know we're right. Can't give up the fight. The most free. We're gonna beat this tyranny. We're not that's free. Billions of people all across the land have queued up for the boosters and fallen for the scam. They've ignored all the side effects and the dangers of the jam. They think they've done the right thing and that we're the ones who are bad. But anyone with half a brain can see the cracks in the campaign. Sportsmen suffer from chest pain to the facts of getting sick again. Thousands have died needlessly, not through it entirely. It's okay now, it's plain to see. But you better not wake up. That's free. That's free. That's free. It's the best way to be. That's free. That's free. That's free. It's the best way to be. That's free. Take your backpack, stick it up your ass. Tyranny won't last. Never give in. Keep on fighting. We're gonna win. Snub the regime. We're pure and clean. We produce a vaccine. We become all kinds of things. They say we're irresponsible. I should be ashamed. The time will tell, and we will see. Like the ones that stay the strongest and stay held, we're gonna be like spring. We become all kinds of things. They say we're irresponsible. I should be ashamed. The time will tell, and we will see. Like the ones that stay the strongest and stay held, we're gonna be like spring.
And so, if stroke when hopefully all this collapses, and it's getting, we are getting to the point where, as you said earlier, it's getting so obvious these days that it is just a complete and utter sham. If stroke when, I really hope it does, it actually does happen, we are going to be victorious.
That was it.
That was fucking excellent.
Oh, so you got 27 minutes or something. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, sorry when you started that. I was halfway down the stairs, but I had my earbud in my ear.
Yeah.
Is this the bit I just come running back up?
Oh, fuck. I'll tell you how I got 27 minutes. I've a load of fucking gaps on it. Right.
Yeah.
In the actual thing, whenever I made the video, I put in what I thought were like a minute gaps between the videos that I dropped in.
Oh, right. Okay.
But some of them are worked out to be considerably more than a minute. Right, so that's why I've got 37 minutes. But what I did
that's a 27-inch version.
Yeah, what I did do was I went through the thing and found the timestamps for where each of the items were starting, so I can find them.
No worries. Yeah, the audio was going in and out there. You're not did you playing that over your mic, or is it sharing audio?
No, it should be sharing audio.
Yeah, no, you could hear it. It was just sort of waving in and out a little bit. It wasn't, but yeah, you got the gist of it. It was quite a good little video that it did for that. So I was well pleased with that. I like everything he does. His sort of voice has got a kind of sarcastic tone to it. It's deliberate. That he's just taking the piss, really. It's, he's a good lad, and he's going to be getting sorted out soon, I think, and getting back to Italy. And I know I don't know if he's going to be making too much content again anymore, but he wants to sort of get back to writing. I know he was in 2 bands as well when he was in Italy, and he had had to leave them. So he's probably really missing doing the music, I'd imagine. But yeah, we hope we see him soon. Thought it might be a slight chance he might have popped up in the chat there. Maybe he's keeping quiet, keeping his powder dry. But yeah, if you're out there, mate, so it's great to get an email from you. And let's hope everything works out for you, Obadova.
That song is don't you fucking kickstart my music again. Don't. This is what happened last time. You started playing all this music, and it was all quite protesty and all. And then my fucking news kicked in, and for about, well, exactly half an hour after the stream, we fucking wrote something. Yeah, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. And you can see what he's done by that, and you can
Yeah.
hear that it's supposed to be. You know, it's like a rip off of Freedom
Oh,
90, but the chord structure's different. But it sounds like it, and it's just clever the
oh,
way he's done it. You know.
oh, there is definitely the Freedom earworm in there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's all good stuff. Yeah, I hope it comes back. But listen, I mean, if you go to urbanurbanmusic.com, you can stream. I think there might be about three different sort of volumes on there, three different albums. You can stream some of the stuff for free if you want to listen to them. And I'll please say everyone go over and have a listen to Silent Screams. It's powerful stuff, man. It's fucking powerful. And but you can down. I think you just pay whatever you want, and you can download an album. You know, for about £6 or £7 or tenner. I think I downloaded one for it's only a tenner for it, and then it's on your phone or on your laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
After that, yeah, it's a good lad.
Well, the other thing is, listening to a lot of music's going the same way that television is. That you you just you you start listening to the mainstream music, and you're like, no, I just can't listen to this anymore because a lot of it's got an agenda shoved into it. Not just an agenda, because I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. I'm fine with people using music, poetry, whatever to carry a story, but I don't want to listen to the story that I don't want to listen to.
No, yeah, it's just ridiculous. The sort of woke propaganda is just infiltrated into everything, and it's not like people should stop noticing. It's rammed down your throat. It's not a matter of whether you notice or not. It's the TV adverts are just ridiculous now, aren't they? I just feel sorry for any sort of white actors, especially if they're male. There ain't no work for you, is there?
Oh, but interestingly, see if you don't like the advertisements, you can actually complain to uh, the broadcasting standards.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're probably woke organisation as well, aren't they?
right, but here's where it gets good. Right, this is where people on our side don't seem to get it. Right, so if you get woke advert after woke advert after woke advert, right now, whenever you complain to the advertising standards, their name's changed, but if you look up advertising standards, it'll take you to the correct website. Right now, that person has to read every complaint, right? Because it's their job to read every complaint. And if every Monday they get, oh, and by the way, if every complaint is counted as being like 10, is counted as being like 100 people for the amount of people it's affected, because for every for every 10 people that watches something and doesn't like it, one will complain to their friends, and for every like 10 times that happens, somebody will take the time to complain to the official body. And so it is taken quite strongly if they get a number of complaints. And what you're trying to do, and what you can do, is you can piss off the people that work in the advertising standards. And whenever you get the people in the advertising standards to the point where, oh fuck me, it's Monday morning again, I'm coming into a shitload of complaints, and they're all of the same nature, then they start to take action. And then they actually start to uphold some of the complaints. but it's a long-term game. What we have to realize is that the left have spent approximately 50 years with letter writing campaigns, which we have never ever done. Right? And because we've never done it, we think of it as being extremely hard work whenever the reality is it's actually very easy work. Like, really interesting one. Kit Kat did an advert on their Kit Kat thing. It was called Slap Break, and basically there was a guy walked into the shop, bought a Kit Kat, ate it wrong, opened up the wrapper, and instead of breaking off a finger, he bit into multiple fingers. And the girl working in the shop slapped him across the face and went, "That's wrong." And I would say, yeah, but I put in a complaint. Yeah, I put in a complaint on the grounds that it normalises domestic abuse.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I posted it on my Facebook and put my complaint in and put that on to a couple of other groups and a bunch of other people. Put that complaint in, and we heard back that blah, 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 we haven't done anything. But it was about 3 fucking years later. I was in a shop and they had dark chocolate Kit Kats. I don't eat a lot of chocolate, but I do like a bit of dark chocolate. And I was about to lift up the dark chocolate Kit Kat. I went, fuck, that's right, I don't buy Kit Kats, because apart from complaining, I also boycotted Kit Kat. Right? Whenever I went home that day, I went on the Kit Kat's YouTube and looked for their slap break advertisement. It was fucking gone.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
They had removed it years ago. Right. Tesco's had a series of advertisements, Tesco's food stories, and one of them was about I forget what the girl's name was, but say Jane's fish cakes, and her boyfriend hadn't done something, and she made his favorite fucking fish cakes out of this tuna cake, and made 2 of them, and didn't give him any, and ate them herself and whatnot. And I put a complaint on the Tesco's. Never heard anything back from Tesco's, but the advert disappeared.
Wow.
And this is the sort of really low level stuff that we could actually make a difference on. And if every time there was the famous one is Gillette, who I still don't use.
Oh yeah. Same as absolutely,
right.
Absolutely shocking that advert was.
Yeah, well, they had a market reevaluation of 5 billion, a billion with a B.
Is this Procter and Gamble that owns Gillette?
Yeah, Procter and Gamble had to revalue the Gillette brand after that. But you can, and particularly if you get a bunch of people making the same complaint about the same advertisement, the advertisements disappear. And where we fuck up is we don't have the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, look, all right, okay, that the Gillette one, that was global. That was
yeah.
You know, that was extremely woke. I don't know if you'd have to complain about every single advert.
Oh yeah,
you know, and I'm sure some people must do.
Well,
this has been going on about 3 years now. It's just it's outrageous.
Well, you see here with me, it was always my Sunday night drunk thing, because I would have send on my emails at 1 a.m. another red hat tip. See if you're wanting to complain to the government, you're wanting to complain to advertising standards, you want to complain to anything, you want to hit send around about 1 o'clock on Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning, which means it's the first thing on their inbox. If you do it with enough consistency, you can't get civil servants to take Monday off because they don't want to deal with your shit. Right, but what I would do is on a Sunday night I would sit with drink cider, I would type out my complaints, I would hit send, and
Sounds like a
then
perfect night.
and then on Monday morning look at my sent box and go, oh holy fuck. Because I've got a police chief constable, I've got fucking politicians, I've got justice ministers, copied on these emails that I had hit send on at fucking 1:45 on Sunday night, Monday morning that I can't remember fucking typing because I was pissed as a newt.
So you got replies from all these people.
Well, yeah, and but where we go wrong is we're inconsistent, because you need, if you had 100 people complaining about adverts every Sunday night, and it doesn't even have to be the same advert, it's actually better if it's spread out over a lot of different things. Whatever advertisement you've seen through that week on the radio, on the television, blah blah blah, the complaint's really easy. Sir, madam, I was listening to radio. I was listening to Cool FM, watching ITV, watching Channel 4 on insert day, insert time. Advertisement came up for X product. The product depicted the white man as an idiot. I believe this is a negative stereotype for blah, 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 blah. I don't believe this should be a subjective form of advertising. And if they're getting that, if they're getting 100 of them every Monday morning, it's not going to be long before they're pissed off. And whenever you manage to piss off the people that work in the office, they're going to begin to take the complaints seriously. Whenever the complaints are taken seriously, they're going to. Oh, the other thing is they have to go and tell the people that made the advertisement. They have to tell them, and eventually you will get the advertising agencies. You will get companies to go to different advertisement agencies.
Right. Well, okay, people, we know what we've got to do. See if that works. Because maybe you could be right. Well, it's me just thinking. Well, I'm sure there must be a lot of people that do that anyway, but maybe they don't. No, maybe they don't. I haven't. I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you exactly what we do. I can tell you what everybody in our community does. We complain to the people that we know on Telegram. We complain to the people that we know on YouTube. Yeah. We complain to everybody that has got no fucking power whatsoever in changing anything.
Yeah, I know, and we're kind of doing it now, but
well, actually, we're doing the opposite now. We're giving people a solution, and the other thing I'm going to tell everybody to do, everybody, go on the internet tomorrow, not now, because I want you to listen to this stream, but look up consultation documents in my area. And you will find that the government has put out X amount of no, don't learn common law, don't need to. That is you're going way past what you need to do. Look up consultation documents in my area, or consultation documents by health department in my area, blah, blah, blah. And you'll find that the government are going to have a policy that they want to put out, and they've produced a thing called a consultation document. Normally have 90 days to reply. And on that, they will set out exactly what their policy is. And go through and read what the policy is, and look for places where you can insert issues that you're interested in. be they or planning applications. There's new flats. Well, fuck me, there's not enough water in this area to support those flats, blah, 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 right, whatever. But look for anywhere that you can insert your own personal interest into and fire off a reply. And they have to read that because they are paid to read that. Our civil servants, right, get this, our civil servants, our politicians, they're paid to work for us. Whenever we send emails to them, whenever we write to them, whenever we connect them, it'll not necessarily. If you're writing your MP, it's not going to be your member of parliament reads. It's going to be somebody that works in our office. But they have no choice but to read it. Don't have to reply. They can ignore it, but they do have to read it.
That's it. Someone needs to, remind these fuckers of that very subject.
Oh,
well, mate, this is good stuff, man. You're the man. You knows this stuff, and yeah, we do.
And it's easier to do than you think. And the other thing I would say is, if you are wanting to get the niggle politicians, start with your local city councillors. They're normally the easiest people to get in contact with. They're probably the people most likely to actually reply to you. But bear in mind that everything that you send to them takes up part of their day.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, it's certainly there are, like I say, it's small things at that local level, and if people's inboxes are just rammed with the same thing, and they think, well, we've got to sort this shit out, it might take, it could take ages. It's not going to sort of change things globally, but you might be able to change a few things that are going on locally or affecting like advertising and stuff like that in a local region. It's worth a try, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Say for the sake of argument, the day before there's going to be a vote in the House of Commons, right, where all the members of Parliament have to be there for that day, for that vote. And you have 70 Conservative politicians, 70 Labour politicians. And they all have to go to the one place. And they're sitting over coffee and somebody says, I got an email about somebody that was saying that they're having problems in their local hospital because the signposts are done in so many languages that they can't find the English one, and they were saying that this has got them lost in the hospital. And the person that say that to goes, "Fuck! I had the exact same query," and somebody else goes, "So no, but see if 5 or 6 or 7 people all go, I had that same problem." Well, then you go, oh, fuck me, this is a problem not just in my area, this is a problem across the country. Maybe we might want to do something about it.
Yeah, mate, you're right. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It's just things you don't even think of. I was to the hospital recently down south to give blood about once every 3 months to get my iron levels down. And I was just walking around, and it was that kind of shit. It was just fucking signs everywhere. You didn't know where you're going.
Yeah, it's, sorry, I've derailed this whole fucking thing. Sorry.
That's all right.
I went on a mad tangent.
Well, we do like a 42 rant. I like sense and rants, and I like 42 rants. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
But I was speaking, we used to do a similar thing to you, getting drunk and getting on the laptop back in the day. But it was slightly different for me. We'd be on eBay, and I'd be on eBay, and we'd be pissed up. And I remember, I think, oh shit, did I buy this bass or buy that? And there was one particular night where we were looking at this Porsche Boxster. It wasn't a new one, it was probably about a 10 grand car, Sorry, go on.
Is this why you have so many bass guitars?
Most of them were bought sober, and we will have a look at them later.
Yeah.
But and one particular, we woke up and because we've been looking at, as if I'd fucking buy a car without looking at it. But we woke up and Ali said to me, you know, we're absolutely wankered. And Ali said to me, "Did we buy a Porsche last night?" And I said, "I don't know." I don't know. Went down, opened up the laptop. No,
Oh,
no, I didn't put. You know, it'd been like a buy it now or be a buy it now. I thought, I could have easily have done. I just didn't know. You know, it wasn't. You know, it's 8 or 10 grand car. It wasn't a fucking, you know, Ferrari or anything. But it was in the price range that I could easily have done it. And we had been in the market for a car around that time. So when she said, "Did we buy a Porsche last night?" Might have done. It could easily have happened, you know. So yeah, I had to kind of you know, weed off of that a little bit. You know, it's crazy.
oh fuck yeah! There's potentially buying cars makes my emails sound much safer.
Yeah. So I mean, I have probably since about the age of 16. I think I've done a rough calculation. I probably had about 50, maybe, bass guitars. But the most I've ever had at one time was 15, and that's whittled down to about 11 or 12 now or something. Well, we'll have a little look. Actually, one of the basses that the pics that I sent, because people I know, most people won't be interested in them, but we could do a quick slideshow of them. One or two of them are quite interesting pieces, but one of them on there is actually sold now, so it's one less that's on there. But
They do,
yeah,
they do look lovely. They do look like nice musical
yeah.
instruments.
Yeah, they're nice pieces. I mean, I try, you know, I'm not loaded or anything. I'm not, you know, I'm not doing too bad. The music's been good to me, but I always try to buy whatever it is in life, something for the house or whatever. Always trying to buy the best that I can afford. I don't like buying cheap stuff. Not because I'm money bags, because I'm tight. I'm a tight Scotsman. Uh, I only like to buy things once. And
Yeah,
two things like what happened earlier on, two reasons what was or two episodes where I didn't do that and that they fucked me up. One of them, when I set up the studio, all the leads and XLR Canon leads that I used to connect everything up in the studio. For once, I bought a load of cheap stuff, and all the stuff they use to take out on the road for gigs is all expensive stuff. But I thought it's okay. It's just going to be in the studio. It's not going to be getting trodden on or being disconnected and you know, pulled in and out, you know, 500 times in a year. It's just going to be set. I mean, the amount of these cheap leads that have gone down on me, which happened earlier on as well when I was setting up the gear to do this tonight. And another thing today, I don't know how the your climate change is. I don't know if the climate change is nice up your way, but it's about 15 degrees here and blowing a hurricane. And we've got a little gazebo that we bought, and it just goes over the top of the hot tub. And it was a real cheap piece of shit from it's one of those big stores, in big cheap stores. It was called the range. And I said to Ali, I don't think it's gonna last too long. Anyway, it's not meant to. To be fair, it's not meant to stay up permanently. But it took about 2 hours to put this thing together, mainly because the bits didn't fit. And it's in bits now. It's virtually the hot tub's virtually got just two lids, so I've got a load of bungee straps around it. So two instances, you know, always buy the best that you can. You know, whatever money you got. You know, it's just, it's just going to be. I mean, the scrap people won't even take it away. It's like Chinese steel. It's just absolute garbage, and all the four corner supports are all just broken under the wind and that. So, how's the climate change up your way?
it has rained every day for about the last 3 weeks.
No,
It,
no,
no, the one plus side, oh fuck, the 12th of July, it absolutely fucking pissed. So we all got soaked because right the 12th when we have our parade, so I went much to parade and whatnot and got fucking soaked. Uh, the one good thing is if it rains, realistically, secret knowledge, you pretty much want it to rain on the 8th and 9th of July pretty solidly. Be
All
dry
right.
on the 10th because
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
keeps the wood for your bonfire. Damp, it doesn't burn just as quick.
No.
Uh,
Sorry, just got to interrupt a minute. Streaky bacon. No, I did not. But when I'm talking about the climate change in the summer, it's going cold, mate. No, I don't believe it. Definitely being sarcastic.
yeah, I know we've liquid sunshine, but yeah,
Yeah.
like,
It comes down in rods instead of
yeah, it's
waves.
fucking. It has been absolutely shite, but yeah,
It's
the
definitely
fire.
changeable. It's changing, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
the bonfire. I went over to North Belfast this year, and what the fire I watched was about 150, 160 feet tall. It was quite nice. Uh, got a little bit toasty, uh, but there is that. And then I went to Scarva on the 13th to watch the Sham fight. Uh, there's a big parade in a place called Scarva, and after that they have a thing called the Sham fight. Uh, William comes out, or somebody dressed up as William comes out. Somebody comes out dressed up as James. They have shotguns and have a flag each, and they use blanks to shoot the flag off the shotgun post. Shocker, William won again.
Brilliant.
Wins that.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, a really lovely weather for that. But other than that, that's the only time I've had just a t-shirt on in about the last 3 weeks. It's been whenever I'm at G and I were away, we would normally barbecue quite a bit, but we couldn't even barbecue. It was just not the fucking
No.
not the
That's
weather.
bad.
Yeah.
That is bad. Yeah, I have to barbecue about at least 5 times a week usually. And also I've got a big parasol out there, so even when it's raining, I'll still go out and barbecue. I mean, you got it in a British summer, haven't you? So, but you're right
Yeah.
up there in the, right up the middle of the North Sea. It's just, or the Irish Sea, I should say. I mean, yeah,
We
I can imagine. I mean, I was lucky at the time we had done the sort of Antrim motorbike tours. We were really lucky with the weather. But yeah, I know what it's like. I know what it's like.
the week before Emma G and I went away, it was really nice for about a week, and I was like, "Oh fuck," because we've just missed the week of summer, and then
Yeah,
yeah, and I can guarantee it'll get good the first week in September.
yeah. Well, this is it. Climate change hasn't reached Northern Europe, has it? You know,
No, anybody that believes in climate change doesn't go outside.
it's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but yeah, September. As soon as you go back to school, you get sunshine for about the first 2 weeks. It's fucking every bastard year.
Famous Indian summer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is because I can remember as a kid going back to school. Our school holidays are slightly different to the ones in England. So we finish in June, at the end of June, and we'll go back in September. And I can always remember the first couple of weeks of September sitting in school with the sun beaming in through the window and thinking it was raining all last week when I was off.
Yeah. God. Anyway, shouldn't be talking about the weather too much, should we? But this is such a British thing to do, you know. Complain about the weather, complain about woke TV.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna interrupt for a minute. Can we please be fucking nice in the chat? Can we? Please. Just chill ourselves out. And by the way, for the record, Russia has used cluster bombs in Ukraine. Not very many, but they have used them. And can we all just chill the fuck down, please? Thank you. Right. Normal service shall resume.
Is it the usual? Is it a bit of Billy Boggs banter going on there? Is it, or is it
Yeah,
something?
It's gone past banter.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Normally I say nothing about that. I just let it all pass, but I've gone past banter. I'm not going to block anybody. It's all fine, but can we just be nice to each other for once? I don't know.
He'll be lucky. Look,
Yeah.
Rory Herbert, hi mate. Mate, is Base Guitarist. I think his real name is David Gilmour. No, my real name is very close to Al Mag. You know, but a lot of people just know me as that anyway. No, David Gilmour, yeah, great guitarist. What's his face? Your woke fellow. He was the bass player in Pink Floyd, wasn't he? And wrote a lot of songs. What was his name? The bass player. I'm not sure if Robbie Herbert was taking a mickey there or what. But Budgie you're saying Art Collective. Are you? Who are you referring to? Because I might have a little bit to say about that. What was that in relation to? If you stick it in the chat.
Wait, sorry, which one? Where's Budgie Burger? Art Collective?
Yeah. I just wonder what he's talking about with that. Is he talking about Whack Media? I wonder.
I don't know.
Roger Waters, yeah. Yeah, Roger Waters was the bass player. And still is. And a bit of a whiny lefty as well, I think. Probably fair to say.
This is where this is where my knowledge of music and whatnot lets me down, because I'm not that up with even the people I listen to. Like, I listen to a hell of a lot of Stray Cats. I like the Stray Cats.
Yeah, that's good old stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, Brian Setzer, I can name you. Slim Jim Phantom. Who the fuck the drummer was, I have no clue. Right, you know.
No.
You know,
you haven't got a Rockasilly haircut, have you?
No, oh fuck.
You used to have.
I tried to.
No.
For a while, I had a crew cut. I've got my hair grows weird. So there's nothing can be done with it long. Because it sprouts out at different angles. And you know, the idea of getting it all to sit in the quiff or anything, that was never ever going to happen. As much as I tried whenever I was 14, 15, I'm a lunatic. Well, all my run about and down all sorts of rockabilly patches. That was never going to happen. But he also listened to the Jets. Couldn't tell you who was in that band, the names of anybody. Stiff Little Fingers that I listened to a lot of. Yeah, Jake Burns was the lead singer. Who the rest of them were, no idea.
I'm going to guess you're similar age to me. That you're probably
mid-50s.
Right, so you're exactly. So you're Generation X, but only just. It's like me.
Yeah.
Eggman, Guy Pratt. Sorry, 42. I've just started looking at the chat. When everybody writes anything about bass players, my eyes just go on it. Yeah, Guy Pratt. He also played bass for Pink Floyd for a while, didn't he? He's actually a great player. He played for Madonna, Like a Prayer. You listen to the bass line in Like a Prayer. That's Guy Pratt, believe it or not. He's quite a funny bloke. Bit of, again, a bit of a lefty. Aren't all musos, but yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right about that. He definitely did play for Pink Floyd as well for a while.
I like me a bit of Pink Floyd, but this is another thing. Like, couldn't tell you anything about who was in the group, but just hear songs and go, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Fergal Sharkey. I don't think you played bass for Pink Floyd. Obviously, it wasn't all about that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dawn Brown in Generation X, the best generation ever.
I could tell you a bit about Fergal Sharkey's politics.
Yeah, because he's one of your boys, isn't he?
Oh no, he's from down south.
Oh, he's one of the others. Okay. Oh,
right.
I thought it was. All right, my mistake.
Yeah. Quite fond of them people set bombs off and shit. By the way, was our Fergal.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Terrible faux pas by me. I apologise again.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Here's the thing. it's only common knowledge among a very select amount of people. You know, Fergal Sharkey, and well, I think everybody probably knows what that cunt Geldof was up to, ripping off lots and lots and lots of people. But
what to do with the charity, or is there something
oh
else that
yeah,
I don't know about?
yeah, oh
The African charity stuff.
yeah, the whole Band-Aid thing.
Right.
Oh,
Don't know too much about it. If you've got any
Oh,
inside info, mate, I'd love
oh
to hear it.
well, it's not inside info. Do you want to hear?
Yeah,
Right.
well, if it's well known, it's
Right.
bypassed me, I think.
Right. Bob Geldof
I
told you
hate
there
that
was
fucker, by the way. Just
Right.
anyway, sorry.
right. He told everybody there was a drought in Africa, as did all the other pop stars and everybody else. Do you know who didn't tell you that there was a drought in Africa? Any of the politicians.
No.
Because guess what? There was no
But
fucking
I
drought.
saw it on TV, so it must be true.
Yeah, no. What happened was about 7 years previous that Ethiopia was taken over by communists, and they kicked the people off their land and gave it to a different bunch of people that they preferred, and they sort of were walking about all desolate, and the aid agencies come in and put up camps, and guess what? See, whenever they put up camps and started giving out free food, lots more people arrived at the same place, and they then said that the reason why they didn't have food was because of a drought that never fucking happened.
Right. Get all off hate. Just it doesn't surprise me, I guess, now.
Yeah,
Fuck's sake.
yeah. Oh, like having said that, I mean, at the time, I, along with everybody else, was fully of the opinion that there was a drought and shit. But having said that, it was probably about fucking 12 or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't. It was a bit older than 12, but it wasn't old enough to be. And the internet wasn't there. You couldn't just look up geopolitics in Ethiopia. You got what was on the news, and yeah, it turns out that there was a lot of shitty and wool about that.
Yeah. Well, it was different times back then because you just sort of believed it, didn't you? You know, you'd see all the stars out there with the starving kids with the flies around the mouth, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by the way, totally horrendous what happened to those people. Totally horrendous. And before people start going, claiming them another Alex Jones, yes, lots of people starved. They just didn't starve for the reason that they told us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can believe it. I can believe it now. Nothing surprises me now. If it's got something to do with the communists, anyway.
Right. Put this back onto.
Right.
No,
we did tangent, didn't we? As
yeah,
Dangerfield,
right.
so.
Nobody is buying the Stairway to Nonspell.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, God, I completely forgot about that. Just a funny little ditty. Then maybe we could play a tune or a out again. Right.
That's right. You sent me.
That's
you
right.
sent me a link to one of his songs.
Exactly. Right. So I'm going to basically nobody's buying the Stairway to Thornsville. It can only be talking about what's his name?
Rolf Harris.
Rolf Harris. Oh dear. Rolf Harris. You know, well-known TV nonce. Yeah, here was a strange thing. This is before this came out. I was playing in a venue in Stockwell, and it was right opposite. It was the Swan in Stockwell, and it was right opposite Stockwell Underground Station, where that Brazilian lad had 5 bullets put in his head incorrectly, and so it's a lovely area, but Swan in Stockwell is kind of venue. It's a sort of Irish run, a sort of Irish venue, but they would have all kinds of acts there. We used to play there regularly so this would be band called Evil Puppies. It's this sort of different band from the other stories I've told you. More recently, but this is probably a good 10 years ago, probably a couple of years before it all came out. Actually, he was playing Rolf Harris. So as I think most people know, that he toured a bit as a musician, and he had his wobble board, acoustic guitar, and that he'd released Stairway to Heaven. Right, so we were kind of supporting, but it was a dual level. It was kind of two venues in one. So we did the first set, then he did the first set, then we did our second set, and he did the last set, but on different stages. It's quite a big gaff, this was, and so we were down there watching him do his first set, and they had a merch stand selling CDs and fake Rolf Harris glasses with the goatee beard, and so the glasses were attached to the beard. And so we asked the people selling the merch, "Oh, give us some of them. We'll wear them when we do our set." So we did. We did our second set. We were all dressed up as Rolf Harris's, which now I look back on it, it's just absolutely fucking cringe.
You're like,
But
I
it
hope
was funny at the time, you know.
I hope nobody's got photos of that.
No, there's no photos of that, thank God. And what was I going to say? Yeah, so I sent you that track.
Yeah.
I touched myself, but you obviously weren't familiar with the track, but it was a hit by a female-fronted band called the Divinals, and so that's him doing a cover of it. And I think not sure whether that was released or not, but I came across that on YouTube years ago, and it is the creepiest fucking thing I've ever heard, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
horrendous. It's sickening. You know, you wouldn't even want to. I don't know whether you want to subject.
I'm going to play a little bit of it. Right, the full song's not going out here, but
Right,
with
okay.
me,
Right.
the full disclaimer: this is going out in order to spread awareness as to what this man was doing publicly before he got caught. In the same way that I would possibly play bits of Just Be a Rock Star with Jon Rolling Stone about the song that he wrote about being with an underage girl. Whenever people see this shit, they should actually notice. Here we go.
Yeah, this is something else. Come on, man.
I love myself. I want you to love me. When I feel down, I want you above me. I search myself. Oh, I want you to find me. I forget myself. I want you to remind me. Ooh, I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Ooh, I don't want anybody else.
Yeah, that's about as much of that as I can stomach.
And you can hear the wobble board in the background. Well, I hope
Yeah.
that was a wobble board anyway. But yeah,
fuck
Don
them.
Browning, that's it. It was I Touched Myself by the Divinals. You know, the original song was done by Bird Singer, and it was, you know, it's quite racy when you hear her doing it.
I think in the same way, I take it you've heard the song Hey Baby, I'm Your Telephone Man.
Yes.
Right, yeah, similar to that.
Yeah. That was.
But he thought that would be a good song to release or sing and record.
Yeah, not Nonce Factor 12, Ugly Truth, yeah, without a doubt. So, yeah. It's good, wasn't it, Linda? And to think that we went on stage, you know, dressed up as his gig, I don't remember talking to him at all, actually, so I can't say that I met him. Um, I'm pretty sure I didn't, anyway, but I did wear his fucking merch, and yeah, I feel a bit sick about that. But hey, you don't know, do you? So what can you do?
The the other thing is like, how did he get to where he got to? That's the major problem, right? You know as well as anybody how hard it is to make it in music industry slash showbiz.
Yep.
Like, uh, you know, the if people don't want you to rise upwardly, you will not rise upwardly, and you're up against a very long, slow process of building an
Yeah.
original audience with no help whatsoever.
That's right.
Whereas people like him are grabbed and pulled to the top.
Yeah. And it also sort of came out as well later on. There was a good two-part documentary. I don't know if it's on the probably not the BBC, no, or TVX or something like that, and called Hidden in Plain Sight, I think it was. If anybody hasn't seen that yet, I'll definitely watch it. It's very interesting, and apparently he was a bit of a bully, and you could see how he got there. He charmed the right people, bully the right people as well, and just doing what he did, so like it says in plain sight, it's unbelievable what he did to his daughter's friend, and I thought that was it because I don't remember hearing too much else about it. But yeah, no, apparently there was quite a lot of victims in the end.
Yeah, there's never one. It's never a one-off.
No, you're right, without a doubt. So yeah, that was a short story. That was.
Yeah,
I'm particularly proud of that part of my career. So,
yeah.
what
Uh,
else?
oh,
What else?
we've got a quick but found palate cleanser, the Eye of the Tiger.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Very quick one. Um, so same band. This is basically the core makeup of Clan of Celts. By the way, we're playing the Willow Festival next Sunday. If anyone's in that Peterborough area, around about 5 p.m. I've got early rehearsal for that tomorrow. I'll be going over the stuff. So I'm playing in about 4 or 5 bands and involved in about 6 or so different projects. So if we haven't done a gig or a rehearsal for a while, I have to go over the stuff. My brain, and it's always been like this, it's not particularly got any worse over the years as I've got older, but my brain can only hold so many songs, and it's like the hard drive is full. So what I have to do, if I've got a different thing coming up we haven't played for a while, I think the last time was a couple of gigs around Paddy's area, Paddy's weekend. I have to go over the stuff, otherwise it just self deletes from my brain. So yeah, that should be good. But I'm bang on it for tomorrow, and the Willow Festival should be good. But basically, the lads, the Clan of Celts, the guitarist Den, is a big guy. He doesn't fuck about. Billy, that was Belfast Billy. He's moved up to Scotland now. He's not in a band, but he was in the covers band, Evil Puppies, that we were running for about 15 years, which I mentioned on the last stream.
Oh,
And
to,
go on, mate.
to be fair, from the videos, you all look like big lads.
Yeah, and Grant, the drummer, as well. And in 15 years, we never got any trouble from anyone. We didn't need to, get the bouncers in to sort anything out. It was definitely sorted out. So, except for one particular day, it was St Patrick's Day. We were doing about 3 gigs on St Patrick's Day, and we were in one of the venues that we used to play regularly, called the Keys in Holloway, down Holloway Road in London. Getting split level venue, Irish owned. He owned a few venues. We played at all his venues, Great place, really, really cool place. But it was in the afternoon and it was a little bit quiet, which is quite strange, even for there. It might have been around about 5 o'clock, around lunchtime. That place would have been packed. So, but the reason that's relevant is that will become apparent in a second. So, some old guy, some old Irish guy, kept coming up to Den. He was a guitarist and singer, and saying, "Can you play so and so? Play so and so." Some old record, it might have been a bit of a fucking rebel song or something like that. And Dan was just started off being polite, he's going, no, don't do that, And this guy kept fucking coming up saying, play so and so. I wish I could remember what it was. And I said, no, we're not doing that. So this guy come up again, asked him again, because there was a sort of wooden barrier in front of the stage, from separating it from the dance floor. But I think Den's mic was on a boom because he's playing guitar as well, so it wasn't a straight stand. It was a boom stand, so it had an angle on it. So one of the bottom of the top angle piece would have been sort of hanging over, so it was accessible to the sort of via the dance floor. So this guy, out of frustration, he's just fucking pissed arsehole, He sort of gave the mic stand a bit of a push, and what that did, that smacked the mic into Dennis's mouth. Now, we all knew, we all saw that. We knew what was coming next, right? We knew what was coming next. So the other guy, he turns away, walks across the dance floor, which is sort of fairly sparse. Dennis's guitar goes down. He jumps over this barrier. He turns the guy around, right? And I've seen him put people down before. It ain't no luck of fluke if you get hit by Danny Knight. He turns the guy around, pulling his shoulder around, turns him around, bang, guy's on the deck. So Bill, we stopped playing by then. We're just fucking laughing. Bill, lead singer, from the video. Yeah, I think this is probably a good time to take a break. Then DJ Terry, the Irish guy, fucking starts playing Eye of the Tiger, doesn't he? It's just fucking brilliant. But look, the guy deserved it. We didn't get a lot of hassle. I'm a big lad, 48, 50-inch chest, and a bit shorter than the other guys, but yeah, they're tough guys,
Yeah.
So yeah, no problem.
I would not be. It wouldn't be a band that I'd be deciding to go fuck about with. It looks like you would find out.
Yeah. Oh, it was another incident. It was a venue we were planning on O'Neill's in St Albans. The St Albans O'Neill's was one of the biggest. We used to do it about once a month. I think it's the biggest in their chain. And unfortunately, it's not a venue anymore. It's like a gastro pub now. Sorry, I just drank some water. And that had a big stage area and a lot of wooden railings, sort of going around the whole thing, and some steps down in the middle. We used to take because it used to have a capacity of about 500. When we played there, it was always full up. And so we'd use quite a large PA system, and it was linked into the house system as well. I don't know why I'm telling about the PA. I don't think that's relevant. Maybe the fact Dennis has spotted, it was him again on this one, he had spotted someone climbing up, and they must have climbed up over something, got onto a table, because, like I say, the stage area was quite high. Then they had the sort of wooden railings going around it after that. So it would have been up about 15 foot in the air. So he had spotted someone climbing up onto the stage, right sort of over on my side of the stage, and I hadn't seen it. I'm sort of looking forward, up by the left-hand PA speaker. So he puts his... The guy's not got onto the stage, but that's his intention, is to climb up onto the stage. And Dennis, again, just puts his guitar down. And the interesting thing, he doesn't turn the volume down, right? So the thing's all feeding back, going, making this kind of sound. And he grabs this guy and he pulls him up onto the stage, just fucking like he's a rag doll, right? Just rips him up onto the stage, and he drags him across the stage, down the steps, pulling him out, and everyone sort of parts because it's packed, and everyone parts way, and the exit is right in line with the stairs on the stage. So he pulls him right through the venue, right out to the back of the venue, through the 2 double doors where the bouncers are, and threw him out into the street, and said to the bouncers, "Why don't you do your fucking job?" And so he, pardon me, so he comes back in, and there's Bill. That was Dennis that chucked the guy out. Bill is on the stage, and he's got hold of Dennis's guitar, and it's still feeding back like fuck. And he's doing a Jimi Hendrix thing, like licking the strings. And we're just on the floor, man. It's just it's so funny. Just yeah. So that's the kind of deal that is. You think it's time for a little track and a
Yep.
sneaky out? If anyone's interested,
Yep.
it's too late, is it?
No, it's fine. What do you want me to put on?
This station order before, didn't we?
We did.
What have you else you got there? I can't remember what I sent.
Right. We've got Dystopia Myopia by Justice King, which everybody's heard. Justice King, Orwell and Ends Well. We've got actually. Do you know what we'll do? We'll play Clan of Celts, Don't Take Me Home.
Okay, it's good to me.
Since we're talking about that.
Yeah. So when you see these guys fighting in it, I know everyone's seen this video.
Yes.
When you see these guys fighting, right? That's they're holding back in this video.
Yep. Right. Get that up. Right. Oh. Right. Here it comes. Share screen. This is actually quite appropriate for after those stories.
They'll fight about the horses, they'll fight about the carts. Hold back the pistol, oh, the pistol, pick up at the heart. Let me drum and cheer for Ireland and sing them a song. It'll be sure of the crack when you quit with the pack, so please don't send me home. 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 Please don't send me home.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Great fun video that was. Yeah, don't remember, guys. Don't forget either. Willow Festival, if you're anywhere near that sort of Midlands, Peterborough area. Should be a good one. Yeah, should be good. If the weather's good, it should be good fun.
Yeah, and that does look like I've listened to, cause I've listened to quite a bit of stuff off the YouTube channel, well, all of it basically. Yeah, that'll be a good night, good live gig. If anybody wants to get up, BNSPQ was saying that he's heard that before, we doesn't know the song. You've probably heard me playing for a nitro, but Al Mac, that's the band that he plays bass for currently.
Yeah. And with also, I think August the 5th, I think there's a little, well, it should be, they close off the whole part of Old Town Stevenage and have a festival there. And pretty sure we're doing that. I'm not sure what slot it is, but August the 5th, if anyone's around that area as well, should be a good one. Yeah, cheers, it's the Duck, thank you.
Yeah, Billy Blogs, that's a band that Al Mac plays bass in.
Yeah.
I don't know how I get you booked in for Bell Sonic. I was trying to find out who it was booked that, but I had no joy with that. But yeah, there's a local music festival to me every year called Bell Sonic.
Right, I think I've heard of it. Yeah, I don't know too much about it.
Bell Sonic, actually, I think CHS Custom House Square is a better festival, but there's two like big music festivals in Belfast. I was trying to find out who the bookers were, but I had no joy.
No, it is hard, especially if you're not in the business. But you're the kind of guy that could, you're a resourceful fella, so you never know. But not expecting anything.
I know people that get booked to things through Portray, but they don't know who does that booking. If that makes any sense.
Right. I'll thank you, Linda.
Yeah. But what I was basically trying to find out was, did the same people that did that type of booking do that music booking? And the answer was no.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Right. So, do you want to? Because we had quite an eventful month in Israel.
Yes.
So we have a little talk about that. It's quite,
yes.
It's quite a lot to unpack with that one.
Yes. Israel, a leader of Blackbush, the assassination, earthquakes, and breakfast with a Nolan sister.
Yeah. Obviously, that was a little bit of clickbait, but all this is true. And so I'll start it off. Best way to start this off really is at the beginning when this was back in this was a soul band, so it wasn't the Puppies. This is back in '95. Had a 6-piece soul band, I think it was. And again, it was Scotty from Belfast. We had Stormy Norman from Belfast also on guitar. Now, Stormy Norman was in one of those, he was in a band called Elixir, and they were one of those new wave of British heavy metal bands. They did about 5 albums. I think Son of Odin was one of the more well-known ones. And one of my sort of best mates, just, love the guy to death. And did quite a lot with him, did quite a lot of touring. But what did I mention him? Yeah. So when we were asked to do a showcase for this possibility of a gig by It's a Dark Witch Nolan, it was Colleen Nolan. Yeah, it doesn't get better, does it? So yeah. You'll find out why in a minute. And so we had to go. I mean, musicians don't like getting up early in the morning, but we all had to get in the van from London and get down to Bournemouth, where they were holding sort of audition showcases for this promoter. This promoter works for 3 hotels, venues in Eilat in Israel. So we all piled down in the van, and in this particular hotel it had a massive sort of function room. And what they did, it was a little bit of a pain in the ass. And what they wanted every band to set up, there was no stage, so they wanted every band to set up on the floor, bringing their own PA system, and just have all the bands ready to do 3 or 4 songs, and then the next band does 3 or 4 songs, the usual sort of caper. This wasn't... Sorry, mate, come on.
Is it normal for each band to swap the PA system for each set?
Well, normally in a gig, however many bands are on, it would be using the same PA system.
Yeah, you plug in.
Well, yeah, and there'd normally be, tech engineers there that would... they would operate the PA system, and you'd set your own gear up, which we call a backline, and they would either mic up the drum kits, might put the mics up for the singers, connects up the amps and everything to the PA system. But they wanted everyone to bring their own PA system and have it set up. So, it's a bit of a ball ache, and getting up and driving down to Bournemouth to be sort of ready to play by 12 o'clock or something stupid like that, midday. And also, this kind of thing was not unheard of, but we didn't really... we hadn't done anything like that before. We hadn't needed to. But one of the agents that we worked with and said, "Look, I'll go down and do this thing. This guy is coming over from Israel. And if you get part of this, you might get a few weeks out the venues that he works with." So anyway, we did it, and we got there, and there was, it was weird. I think I said it first, and I said, "This is I can't imagine a worse place to be." And they were turning around to me, going, "What do you mean?" I was going, being in a room like this, just full of musicians, and they sort of, everyone looked at me a bit strange, and I said, just look around, look at the fucking egos and arseholes and hairspray in this room, it's just, and everyone sort of, got it and laughed. And one of the other bands that were down there were a bunch of guys from, there's a couple of birds in the band, from Essex called Hollywood. We got chatting to them, and it seemed we could laugh and all that. Anyway, so a few months had gone by, hadn't heard anything about it. I thought, I knew that was a waste of time. And but then we come through from our agent saying, "You've been offered a month," I think it was around November time, in Israel. Do you want to do it? So and see what the deal was, what the pay was. Pay was good. It was going to be the King Solomon Hotel, which is a 5-star hotel, we'll all be staying at the King Solomon as well, not in a cheaper hotel down the road. All our food and drink will be all free. All drink while we were playing would be free. We want to do it, and I think the pay was pretty good as well for the time. It was really, considering we weren't going to be spending any money while we were there. So we all said, fucking right, you know, and all the flights and everything was all paid for. So I think, yeah, brilliant. So when that came around, and it was weird as well, because I think that they must have done background checks on us all. So I think they wanted all our passport numbers well in advance because of security issues, you know, flying into Israel. Because when we arrived at the airport, we got off the plane. We didn't take any gear, by the way. There was no equipment. I just took one bass guitar. Normally just took one guitar. I think the drummer might have taken his snare drum and some cymbals, something like that, like breakables. And basically, we didn't take anything. It was all going to be laid on for us. And I remember we were getting to go through security, and this agent that we'd played for down in Bournemouth, he was there, and we just got waved right through security, right through the whole thing, and everyone's all queuing up. Going, who's this fucking lot getting through there? And so they must have done background checks on us, and so yeah, we get down there. But here's the thing, and here's where the Bushmills come in. Norm had bought a litre bottle of Bushmills at the airport. Now, we had been drinking, we probably got to the airport at 6 in the morning or something like that, one of those early morning flights. We were drinking from 6, 7 o'clock, whatever. We were drinking at the airport, we got on the plane, we're drinking on a plane. We get through down to the, hang on, what's that, where we have it? No, I didn't visit the nudist beach in Bournemouth. No. And, yeah, sorry, I was distracted by that. Yeah, so we get to the hotel, and we have like an induction when we get there, and food, and we're drinking there. We go down to the venue that we're going to be playing at, which is it's right at the bottom of the hotel. It opens out onto the King's Wharf. So we're playing for about 400 people. And so I just got a cough there. And so we were drinking all night in the venue that we were going to be staying at. So rooming-wise, I was rooming with Norm. The 2 girls were in the room opposite us, and the other 3 lads had one of the suites upstairs with a jacuzzi outside on the balcony. So their suite, that was going to be the party room, you know, and which it turned out to be. And we were hammered, and for some reason, we'd got back to our room, and I was laying on my bed, and I think Norm had opened his bottle of Bushmills, and I had it, and I was just laying there, just glugging this bottle of Bushmills. Why? I just no idea why. It was already been drinking 18 hours or something.
Yeah, no glass or nothing.
No, I was just glugging it. Yeah, just laying on the bed, bottle vertical, you know, glug, absolute madness. Anyway, some hours had gone by. I think Norm was still passed out on his bed. Just make sure everyone knows it was, single beds there. And the room was absolutely covered in vomit, like just absolutely sprayed all over the place, which was me. Well, I've done that. Now, really, I probably shouldn't have survived that because I should have. I did not wake up while that was happening. I probably should have choked and died. So I was very, really close to dying. I would say I had alcohol poisoning for about 2 or 3 days after that. That next day, we were supposed to go down to the venue and meet the sound techs down there, do the initial setup and sound check. There was no way that I could do that, so I didn't go. I was still in bed, and so Do you remember them hotel phones? They used to get them in hotel rooms in good hotels,
Yeah,
and they had loads and loads of numbers on them, and also they had push buttons. You know, one for laundry service, one for room service, reception, all right. And I looked down at this phone, and it was covered in vomit, completely covered. They've had some spew, yeah. And I remember unplugging it and putting it in the shower. And I just turned the shower on and left the phone in there, right? So anyway, Norman got up and I tried to clear up as much as I could. And I said, tell the hotel people we need another phone. So I've stayed in bed all day long. And this hotel maintenance guy, he lets himself in and he's fucking sees the state of me. And I'm going, the phone doesn't work, the phone doesn't work. And he picks it up out of the shower and it was just full of fucking water, just dripping wet. And he just looks at me and just fucking shaking his head. Going, who the fuck are you, fucking arseholes? Anyway, so all was good. I just recovered enough. By the way, in the month that we were in there, that room, no matter, we had the cleaners come in, we did everything that we could. That room smelled of vomit for the month that we were there. It was fucking rotten. It was rotten. But anyway, so I'll let you talk in a minute. But we were there about 3 days. I think we'd done 2 gigs, and we're doing 3 sets in the venue at the bottom of the hotel. And the Israeli Prime Minister Isaac Rabin was assassinated. So if you've got that little bit of stuff there while I take a drink of water,
yeah.
I'll read a little bit about it.
Let's see.
It was nothing to do with me, by the way.
Right, yep. Right. I've got a little bit, or it's actually out of Wikipedia, but I will get this shared up a little bit of information. Share screen. Just check if this has come up. Yep, that has. I'm okay with the size of that. Yep, assassination of Yitzhak Rabin. The assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, the 5th Prime Minister of Israel, took place on the 4th of November 1995, 12th of some fucking made-up month, at 21:30 at the end of a rally in support of the Oslo Accords at the Kings of Israel Square, Tel Aviv. The assassin, an Israeli ultranationalist named Yaga Amar, radically opposed the Prime Minister's peace initiative, particularly the signing of the Oslo Accords. I'm guessing the Oslo Accords was some form of a peace deal, if any such thing exists in that place, which I would doubt.
Yeah.
So it was a 25-year-old guy from Hesdar, a student and far right law student. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was obviously he was sort of an Israeli nationalist.
Yeah, I'm taking the place went a little bit nuts.
Yeah, they took you quite seriously over there, and there was 3 days of mourning, which meant we weren't going to be playing for 3 days.
Yeah, that's going to interfere with your concert schedule.
It was interfering with it didn't interfere with the drinking.
No,
no, exactly. But the thing was, when it happened, because I was probably more aware of sort of global politics and politics in the Middle East, more aware than anyone else in the band. I knew it had some knowledge of it and history of it and the history of Israel. And so I was very, very worried. I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. But when we found out that it was this an Israeli that had done it. It
Yes.
was I was relieved. Was relieved because we thought it was Palestinians or something like that, or
Do you,
some other Arab group or whatever.
oh, talking about your knowledge of the Middle East, do you know where the PLO came from?
Well, not exactly. Well, apart from Palestine, no.
Yeah, well, no, they didn't originate in Palestine.
Right.
Uh, at the end of World War II, there was a bunch of Germans went to the French Foreign
Ah,
Legion,
right.
and there was
Sounds
another
familiar.
bunch. Uh, there was another bunch of SS commanders and SS soldiers that went to the Middle East and came under the auspice of uh, several Middle Eastern countries. And whenever the 6 Day War happened, the bulk of the Middle East fighters were actually those Germans. And there are still, you can find pictures of the PLO all doing Nazi salutes and stuff like that. That's
Very
basically what
interesting.
that's
Yeah.
basically where they came from. And the other thing, interestingly, coming from Northern Ireland, coming from Belfast, uh, yeah, the PLO is also where the IRA got their weapons from.
Right. Right.
There's a
Okay.
there's a really large connection between
Yeah.
Palestine Liberation Army, Hezbollah, and Irish Republican Army.
Yeah. I think I had heard those sort of rumours. Some time back in the 80s. I think. Yeah. I remember hearing something like that, but didn't know whether it was true. But
Uh,
yeah, it was just it was a strange time. But can you imagine that having 3 days a morning if
yeah,
Dishy got bumped off? Can't imagine it, can you?
yeah. Well, given your story about the puke in the hotel, I can imagine this is going to lead to 3 days of drinking.
Yeah, because obviously I'd recovered from the
Yeah,
alcohol poisoning, so
yeah,
I was
yeah, and
I was good to go again,
yeah, and you've got all these musicians that have now got 3 days downtime
Yeah,
with nothing to do but drink.
and free drinks as well.
Yeah,
And this is one of the things about that gig. So we used to go. We used to. Well, I basically wouldn't get up till about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and we would go and grab a couple of bottles of wine from somewhere, just to sort of, just to warm you up a little bit for going down to the venue. But you didn't want to go down there cold. You didn't want to, because it was a bit mad. Oh, by the way, and I mentioned this other band, Hollywood. This lot from Essex. So we'd been there about a week, and they show up in Israel, all right? But in that time, I remember a few months had gone by, they had been in China and done at least a month or 6 weeks in Hong Kong. Now, they were fairly sane when we met them at Bournemouth at the showcase. When they turned up, and they were staying in this hotel, but they were playing in another venue down the road called the Three Monkeys or something like that. It was all part of the same hotel group and promoter group. By the time that they turned up, they were fucking mental. They'd gone loco, just loco, and it was that life on the road of just the madness of it all. And you can't. It's really hard to explain unless you've been through it.
well,
And
Japan's
they
a,
just
Japan's a strange country at the best of times.
no, they're in Hong Kong and China.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think they made Japan. I think.
Oh, sorry. I got that wrong. But yeah,
Yeah.
like
They're strange enough as well.
yeah, yeah, Hong Kong would have its quirks. Let's say, particularly at that time. Yeah, if I can imagine if you're there for a period of time in a band on the road doing gigs, yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to change you.
Yeah, and just there's a lot of drinking. It's all like you're out partying every night. You're just getting madder by the day, just trying to out mad each other, uh, egging each other on. So yeah, so we were still, the first week that we were there, still fairly. Oh yeah, this is good. But was getting in the end when we were in the venue. We were just drinking cocktails. You couldn't be bothered with a beer or wine. So we I ended up just sort of drinking White Russians and that all the time. But we used to go to this underground nightclub that only the staff that worked in the hotels knew about. It wasn't for the tourists. And so when we finished the gig, 3 sets, it might be about 12:30 or something like that. We'd go to this really weird. It was like a bit of a building site. It looked like with a bit of a shed just sticking up in the middle of nowhere. And you open the door to the shed, and there's a staircase that goes down to the nightclub. And I think they were sold bottles of wine, little bottles of wine, and cans. And I think it was 2 shekels for a beer or wine. So we'd be drinking there till 6 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock, when the place would sort of empty out a bit. And we'd be staggering back to the hotel, and we'd see all the coaches, and the sun would be up by then. It's getting hot. And you see all the people getting on the coaches for their day trips out to Petra and the Dead Sea or Jerusalem or wherever they're going. And we'd just be staggering in there, and people be looking, who the fuck are these people? And yeah, it was a weird existence. Then anyway, it was all going good, all good fun. Now, Shane Ritchie and his wife, Colleen Nolan, happened to be on holiday in this place as well. I mean, it's a 5-star hotel, quite a lot of wealthy Americans and British people there. And it's a resort, Elatsa Resort. And it's fairly, you'd have quite a lot of, it wasn't overly Jewish in any way. You'd have Arabs living in the area. It's quite a peaceful area. And so Shane Ritchie would keep coming up to us while we were on stage and say, can I come up and do, what do you want to do? He wanted to do a town called Malice, because he thinks himself as a bit of a singer. So can I come up and do a town called Malice with you? And usually what you do when someone wants to come up and do a song, or what you normally say, just to palm them off and say, oh yeah, next set. So this has gone on it's like a few days. Oh, let me come up and do a song with you. Let me come up. And then one day we'd come out of the nightclub. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you want to pull up the stuff about the earthquake,
Right.
we'd come out, and me and Norm had gone back to our room. Norm was passed out on his bed, still dressed. I was still slightly awake, but still dressed. And the whole fucking place, who's that? Security body that sounds like. The whole place started shaking. I mean, really, really shaking. And there was this massive earthquake. If you want to just
Yep.
have a little talk about it.
The 1995 Gulf of Arabia earthquake, also known as Nubella earthquake, occurred on November 22nd. They've got an actual proper month and not some made-up one. At 6:15 local time, just when Al Mac was getting back from the nightclub. And registered at 7.3 on the, I'm guessing that's a Richter scale. 7.3, that's fucking large. The epicenter was located in the center segment of the Gulf of Arabia, the narrow body of water that separates Egypt's Sinai Peninsula with the western border of Saudi Arabia. 8 people were killed, 30 were injured in the Mesomuzel area. We've got a bit of a map, mappage going on here. Eliat, Cairo, Alexandria. I don't know where Israel is on that fucking map. Let's see.
We see where it says Eilat.
Yep.
That's just Israel. Really, is just that tiny little strip of land just
Right.
above Eilat. So Eilat is right on the Red Sea, and that's it. It's just a tiny little strip of land.
Yeah. It's not far. It's not far from where that thing went off.
Yeah, exactly. So, fortunately, there were no tsunamis or anything like that. But oh man, it was crazy. So Norm, Belfast Norm, he sleeps through the whole thing, man. And what a thing to be able to claim. It's, I could sleep through an earthquake, and he literally did. He just slept through it, didn't wake up at all. So I'm grabbing him, trying to wake him up, but at that same time, there's all this frantic banging on our hotel door, and it was the two girls that were in the saxophone player and the backing singer that they were shitting themselves. And at that point, I didn't realise whether there'd been a nuke gone off in Tel Aviv or something like that, or closer. Just if you've not been in an earthquake before like that, you don't know what it is, man. And just the whole fucking, you could hear all the concrete and plaster shaking. You just imagine that hotel just being shaken like a rag doll, and the sound is like nothing else, and just the feeling of the earth, the whole ground, everything moving under your feet. It's an incredible sensation. It's very hard to imagine.
Yeah. That's gotta be weird. Particularly whenever you're not expecting it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
You're
we certainly weren't expecting it. And
yeah. Well,
I thought it could have been a nuke gone off somewhere. It just you're in the Middle East, man. It just anything could happen, couldn't it?
yeah. And also, not long after the assassination, or
Yeah,
there's a lot
exactly.
of things that could have been.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I've never been in an earthquake, but I have. Yeah, I've been places where the windows rattled and everything shook because something went boom very nearby.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you
That's
know,
probably the closest you get to it. Without an
yeah,
earthquake.
but in that situation, I mean, what you're doing is trying to come home from a nightclub at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we need to sleep, man. We need to sleep.
Yeah, and he slept through it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was incredible. It was out cold, and so the two girls were banging on the door. Then we got some of the staff from the hotel sort of came round on each floor, and they were telling us all to evacuate the hotel immediately. And so I made sure I eventually woke Norm up, and I sort of grabbed me money and me passport, and I said, "Look, we're opening up the breakfast early. Go down to the breakfast area to the restaurant, but everyone's got to get out there. It's okay down there, but the hotel needs to be inspected to see if it's safe, right? Because some of the other hotels did come down or were structurally damaged so bad that they they were evacuated and shut for the rest of the summer season. It wasn't summer season; in November, wasn't it? But so I get down there first, and I was down to the breakfast restaurant area, and they're putting breakfast stuff out, and I'm sitting down on my own, and Colleen Nolan comes over and sits down, and I says, "Where's Shane?" Yeah, he's getting he's getting all his stuff together. I said, "What do you mean? They told us to evacuate, evacuate the rooms." He said, "Yeah, no, he's packing." I said, "What do you mean he's packing?" So yeah, we're getting the first flight out of here. So, what a tosser, just a little bit of a shake. So, but so I did have breakfast with Colleen Nolan.
yeah.
But
on the plus side,
sorry,
he never bothered you again about singing 10 court miles.
it saved us. It saved us from having to do a town called Malice with Shane Ritchie. So, it was all good. It was all gravy.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. It's
So
that was quite the trip.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
A few other things that went on there as well. Um, the drummer from this band Hollywood started bothering our sax player. You know, because he fancied her and she wasn't interested in all that. I had to have him up against the wall in one of the corridors and you know, convince him that it wasn't a good idea to pursue this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, but that was it. Yeah, a lot of clickbait in the title, but a lot happened, you know, and I just couldn't resist having the earth shook from the earth shook for me and Colin Nolan, and then we had breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely clickbaity there. And yeah, how are we doing for time?
We're well, it's apart from it being 1 o'clock in the morning, we're on like 2.5 hours. I'm fine so long as you're fine.
Go on a little bit, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. We obviously won't get through everything. That's fine, man. It's
Yeah.
just you know, I did want to get the Israel stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all cool. It's all cool. Shane was packing fudge. Yeah, you might well have
Right.
been. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Madness.
Do you want another song on to get out for Siggy or whatnot?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Right.
Do you want to do? Oh, what else you got there?
Right. We've got two Justice Kane ones. Right. We've we've done the Stacey Lawler one. So
Okay.
hold on. Wait, one second. Yeah, we have. I'm just checking the other ones that we had on your video with the timestamp, and we did all those over the two streams. So I'll stick on a bit of Justice Kane.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I'm going to go with Dystopia Myopia.
Yeah. Nice one.
We'll stick
Nice
that
one.
on,
All
and
right.
then
I'll see you in 3 or 4 minutes.
all right, not a problem. Here we go. Another musical interlude. Whenever I get past the boomer shit and get this up and running, and take the fucking Dystopia Myopia by Justice King. I'll stick a link for him in the chat at some stage. Does some good music. And off we go.
Here, let me hold open the door for you. Don't let me keep you from their future. You've got a ticket on that freedom train, but where you're going will be totally insane. The little boy knows the king ain't wearing no clothes, but you can't see past the end of your nose. It's all been designed by a tainted mind. They're building up the prison wall one brick at a time. My diagnosis is keep taking the red pill. You got dystonia, myopia. You got dystonia, myopia. There really isn't any hope for you. You got dystonia, myopia. You got dystonia, myopia. There really isn't any hope for you. It's a disease of the mind, infecting all mankind. Remember how you used to join up all the dots? It would reveal the hidden picture. Now the time has come to think outside the box, 'cause you've been hoodwinked by the evil trickster. And the little boy knows the king ain't wearing no clothes, but you can see past the end of your nose. It's all been designed by a tainted mind. They've been building up the prison wall one brick at a time. My diagnosis is keep taking the red pill. Got this opium, my opium. You got this opium, my opium. Reason for you. You got this opium, my opium. Well, you got this opium, my opium. Close your eyes now, everything will be okay. It'll be okay. If you don't think about it, it will all just go away. Go away. So close your eyes now, everything will be okay. If you don't think about it, it will all just go away. Go away. Go away. It's a disease of the mind, infecting all mankind. You gotta show me my opium. Well, you gotta show me my opium. There really isn't any hope for you. You gotta show me my opium. You got dystopia, my opium. Really isn't any hope for you. Disease of the mind, infecting all mankind. Dystopia, myopia.
Again, that was Justice King. Just before you come back in, I'm going to address something with the chat. Right, there's a format in these shows. Whenever I have a guest in, I do not do a call in after it. I like to respect my guests. I speak to them and speak to them only. So you can knock any ideas like out of your head. You know, happening.
Oh, I've just seen a comment there, Toffee. Oh, mate, that's lovely. Um, Another time, if I get back early enough,
Yeah.
when the call is still on and you're on, mate, I'll come up there
Yeah.
for the call in. But
Yeah, it's not that nobody wants to speak to you. It's that whenever I arrange and have a guest on, I talk to the guest and don't talk to anybody else. Apart from a bit of interaction with the chat, but
Yeah.
it's just the way. It's just the format of the show.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. So thanks for playing it. And I've seen that you've been championing Justice Kane stuff at the end of your streams. Now it's weird. You bang on. He didn't. So Justice Kane's basically it's me and the guy called Gary, who he wrote most of the songs. I did a lot of the music, mixed and produced it. That particular song, I think I did most of the music for that. I think it's even me on guitar. I don't play guitar very often, but I play guitar on that. Yeah, so for thanks for playing it. But he never, he doesn't really know how to promote stuff like that. I think he does a little bit better on Spotify. But even that video, that's not even like a finished video, and he put about 3 or 4 versions up. Yeah, it's a shame, but there's a whole EP, and we're gonna be talking about if you want to spill the beans.
Right.
Um,
We'll
if you
do
want to
the
spill the
reveal.
beans.
Yes, we'll talk a little bit about Justice Kane's new EP,
Yeah,
which. Yeah, right. So you talk about the EP,
right.
and
Right, so there's been an EP's worth of stuff there that have been sitting there. It's been sitting there for about a year, and I was kind of waiting for him to finish another, because he hadn't really promoted Dystopia Myopia album. And I was busy doing a lot of other stuff. It was really his thing. It should have been him that promoted it. But he, oh, thanks, Paul. And yeah. So anyway, so the CP needed to be finished. After we spoke last time, we played a track by Jodie Kay,
yep.
and I think the content of that track, it was a very powerful track, and I think some of what it was talking about, I think resonated with you to some degree, to the extent that you wrote a little poem.
Well, right. To anybody that has a bit of a muse in them, muses are basically a cunt, right? Because you have stuff that percolates in your head, and then this thing screams at you and refuses to stop screaming until you've processed it into some form of writing. And was a bit of that really song. There was also a bit about how you were talking about how you interact with people and you produce music and you polish it and do all that. And after it, I wrote a poem in approximately 10 minutes. It came out. Then I went away and I had a cigarette. Then I looked at it for about another 5 or 10 minutes. I changed a couple of bits. Then I repeated that and I went, right, bump, that's done. I recorded it onto a voice thing and sent it to you and basically went, yeah, here's this. It's your problem now.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a great little poem, and I thought, yeah, I think he wants me to see this and see if there's anything we could do with it, and extend it out of sort of form of a poem, and sort of put it to music. So so be about creative types, right? I'm not a creative type, and this might sound strange to some people. Who's been a musician for 38 years or 40 years or whatever. I'm not really a creative type. I'm one of those people that the technical guy gets it done. And also technical, I'm not just talking about the technical bits of the software recording, whether it's live on stage or whatever. I'm a pragmatic kind of person. I'm not a creative. So, all sort of musical acts and whatever needs a mixture of people. So it needs creatives, it needs pragmatic types. And Gary is from Justice Kane is definitely a creative, and so he will often start a song, and I'll think I'm going to give this to him, and see what he thinks about turning this into a song. And usually, what happens with that whole album, the songs that he writes, and when he sends me a demo or something, doesn't sound anything like what it does in the end. But he comes up with the song ideas, and I said to him, "You have free reign on the chord structure and the melody. Leave the music, or most of the music, up to me, and the backing track up to me." And I thought, I wonder if he'll get it, but he did. But I'd sent him in lyric in word form, and I'd sent an MP3 that you sent me of you speaking the poem, and he hadn't seen that for some reason. And I said, did you hear the guy? I said, he's got a very interesting, really strong Belfast accent, a very interesting voice to listen to, and you hear the sort of emotion in his voice. have a listen to it. And he heard it. He's going, oh shit, that's it. So he said, no, we need to have him talking on it, speaking the poem over it. So, and I said, yeah, that's kind of the way I was hearing it as well. Because he originally sort of had an initial idea of, he did, he sort of wrote a song using the lyrics, or the first draft of it anyway. And you wouldn't believe how long sometimes it can take. Sometimes a song can come together very quickly, but quite often it's a process going backwards and forwards, just changing little things here and there, or saying, or you'll hear something and you think, right, no, I'm loving that. The whole track needs to be have that all the way through it. Or so, it's never just a one way thing of sitting down with an acoustic guitar and coming out with a song and putting the drums and bass to it. It rarely, if you want to come out with something a little bit different and not just sound like a campfire song, you have to think about the production of it. So that's what we did, and it's gone backwards and forwards 2 or 3 times. I've got a little bit of a snippet of the backing track with you on it, but I won't play it yet because there's a chorus part that goes in between your voice that's on it. So, and that's not on it yet. He needs to perform that. I'm going to get someone else to do some vocals on it as well, and I'm going to get a keyboard player to do some. I've already done some little bit of keyboards on it myself, but I'm not a keyboard player, so I'm going to get a top keyboard player to put some stuff on it. So, but it will be avant-garde, and that whole EP it's really going to work with the other stuff that's on there, because it's not as songy as the album, sing-alongy type songs. It's a little bit more experimental in a way, and this works. This is going to work really well.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you how experimental it is. I hadn't even fucking syllable counted that poem before. What I did was I wrote the thing. I went, right, I need to change this and this. Wrote it again, and then I put it into Word because poetry it doesn't have reading it off the page and hearing it, two totally different things. But if I had a thought it was possibly ever going to end up in a fucking recording, I would have polished it a little bit more and syllable counted it. And but
okay.
but having said that, what I did was I did my bit, and the other part, the thread that runs through this song is if we bring the people together that can make something from their different elements and put it together to get something. So I done my bit, which I will fully say was the easy bit. That coming up with what I came up with, that was relatively easy. Used to had the difficult thing of arranging it, finishing it, putting music to it, all that sort of stuff. But I sort of done my bit and went, right here, boom, there you go. And what I actually said during the message was, this is free to use for anybody can make something of it. And I also said, I've wrote this, could be good, could be a turd. Let me know honestly what you think, and if anybody wants to do something with it, work away.
That's the thing. You'd produced it so quickly. I think for you, it almost wrote itself, didn't it? To come out with some. I'm going to call them lyrics now, but it was a poem.
Yeah.
But don't worry about the timing of it, because in the DAW, in the software that we use to produce music, as you know, you've got a GarageBand, haven't you? I'm stretching and moving words so they fit in time. You can manipulate your voice to fit anything, mate. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I've repeated some of the lines that you said. Then on the second one, it slowed right down. So it's you know what these things can do. It's unbelievable.
To be fair, I've got GarageBand. I'll tell you what my extent with GarageBand is. I go click voice record, and I can start it recording, I can stop it recording, and then I can do the next bit and put that in, and I can sort of slide them together. I can take bits out, put bits back in again. But that that's my
Mate,
level.
you're a record producer. You know, that's what it is. And obviously, there's a few more tricks. And if you think, oh, but I want this to do the white, I want this to move that over there, or how can I do that? Well, you go on YouTube, say, but how do I do this on GarageBand? Oh, right, and you do it once, you learn it. I mean, you know, it's amazing. But like I say, the program that I use, the DAW that I use, I probably only use about 40% of its capability. Um, but that is tons. It's already tons. If you're doing other kind of work and you're doing like film work and putting audio files to video or something like that, there's all kinds of tools in there that I don't need to use. And it's the same with most doors, you know. So if you know how to move stuff around and start and stop, mate, you've got the makings of a a
Yeah.
sound engineer.
I, See, to be totally honest with you, I thought that the reason why I couldn't get my garage band to play music was because I needed to buy fucking music for it. It was only about a year ago, and bear in mind, the first time I produced, yeah, 2013, 2014 was the first thing that I went out and bumped. I need to make a video. So I figured out how to speak and make it recording and use Apple iMovie to put pictures over the top of it. And then it was about a year ago, I went on YouTube and found out, oh fuck, I can make a thing, make notes. But yeah, I could get it to make some piano notes, but nothing that was anything resembling what music should sound like.
Right. Yeah, well, what you then do is you can put MIDI files in, so you get the MIDI files to play the notes and or loops, and loads of people do that. Just see, oh, who's it? This comment I just saw there. Yeah, it's a duck. You can now pitch shift perfectly with software now. Yeah, you certainly can. There are various different bits of software, or auto tune and melodyne, rear pitch. I've got a waves one as well. So you don't even need to be able to sing anymore to get someone else singing tune. It can sound a little bit computerized if someone's really out of tune, like that share record that she did. She used it as an effect, so it sort of computerized her voice. But that bit of software was designed to just get people to pitch if someone's singing a bit flat or sharp.
Oh yeah, that one. Do you believe in life after love? But
That's the
sure,
one.
it
That's
was
the one.
all.
Yeah. It's what that was. I think a lot of people become aware of auto tune from that song. It's going, well, how does that sound like that? You know, well, it's auto tune set at a real high rate to really deliberately, screw the voice up, and she used it quite a good effect, I guess.
Oh, I've got a technical question. Uh, can you ask Al Mac if he finds playing instruments easier or MIDI?
Right. So I'm predominantly a bass player. So if I'm doing bass, I'll play bass. Not always. Sometimes I've written a MIDI bass line for it and used a synth bass line using MIDI. The drum software that I use is all MIDI. So all the MIDI grooves, so you're building up the drum track using MIDI. But guitar, yeah. If I'm playing guitar, which I don't do often, I'll play guitar and obviously play bass. But yeah, MIDI's amazing. It's fantastic. It just means that people you don't actually need an instrument or that much music knowledge really, or theory, and you certainly don't have to build up the skills and muscle memory of playing an instrument yourself or learning how to play a keyboard. by just using MIDI, you can punch the notes in where you want them. And does everyone know what MIDI is? It's a musical instrument digital interface. But that terminology, when that word MIDI came up, or the acronym MIDI came up, it was really talking about how different pieces of equipment were connected. I think when we're talking about MIDI now in the more sort of modern age, we're talking about having signals on the computer play a virtual instrument that's within the computer. So it could be a drum, could be a keyboard, could be anything. Literally, could be anything. So that's where we use the sort of terminology of MIDI now in music. Whereas originally, I think it was something that was developed to connect up keyboards to a sequencer and stuff like that, using those 5 DIN plugs. So that's why it was a musical instrument digital interface, I think. But yeah, I hope that answers that.
What I gather from that is some form of software.
Yeah, it's just computer stuff.
Yeah, it's computer stuff. Yeah,
So it's all ones and zeros, baby.
yeah. You connect things, and if you learn how to push the buttons at the right time, you can get it to create stuff.
That's it. Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, no, it's surprisingly easy.
Oh, hold on. That's the one I actually wanted. It's basically a computer-based instrument.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, what was that? What was that game that you used to get the guitar with? Guitar Legend, was it?
I had a go on it once. I was fucking useless at it. A Guitar Hero, was it?
Guitar Hero, yes.
I couldn't play it at all.
Well, funny match. I know of other people that could play guitar, and they said the exact same thing. I was trying to play it like a proper guitar, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So it's Ben SPQ again talking about something called Decent Sampler, where you can get free libraries of sample. Yeah, that's correct. That's right. I have quite a few libraries. It's amazing what you can get now. If you just Google it, if you want a library of sounds that you can put into your or that your DAW, your DAW, can access those samples, and you use a sampler within the DAW, or punch them in on the grid. Someone else mentioned about reading piano notes on the grid. That's basically what you do in MIDI. So usually you have a piano roll on there, so where the note goes on the grid, you can look at against it the piano roll, so you can see what note that is. So say you want the sound to be a D, you'll know where all the D's are on the keyboard, and the F sharps are, or whatever, and you just punch them in on the grid by just double clicking. It's as simple as that. And when you press play, it plays. It plays what you've just programmed in. That's how it works. Yeah, no, thanks for that. I do have quite a lot of samples. You can't have too many though. It's a decent, something called decent sampler. You get. I'll check that out. Yeah, I'm not aware of that one. I'll have a look for that one. Cheers.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the big thing to get this back on the topic, there's going to be a Justice King track coming up that I had a bit of involvement in, and yes, I am going to be fucking using it for the outro quite a lot.
Yeah, I hope you like it. It's I'll say it's not. There is going to be a sort of a hooky chorus to it, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different, and it's I've used a few on the sort of drum and sort of percussion track. There's a lot of sort of cool but weird noises going on with it as well. So, and I want to try and leave it to have a little bit of space in it as well. And some of it, what I've done, I'll put your voice through an EQ to make it sound like someone's talking on a telephone for some of your vocal parts.
Excellent.
It sounds really cool. You know, it gives it a certain vibe. And so
I'm really interested to find out how it all turns out.
yeah, I was really hoping it'd be done by now. You know, Gary, we've had a few technical issues. Well, he's had a few technical issues. He's got a shitty old iMac. It's causing a lot of problems. But it will get there.
Have,
You know,
have you told them to not put any updates whatsoever into that thing?
I right. I think it's beyond that, and
Yeah.
I think he probably wouldn't know how to do an update anyway, or he might not know how to stop it updating. I'm not so familiar with Macs. It
Oh
might
well,
well fucks it up.
right. Were Macs, MacBook Airs, and iPhones, where they all have problems is every update is made to work to the outer limits of the most recent version. So the updates don't fuck your machine. Your machine works the same way as it did. However, if you've got X amount of capability and the new one has got uh, X plus 50, and you're now the updates are now asking your machine to work past its capacity.
Yeah, yeah, and the hardware and the motherboard and all that, and the chips
Yeah.
just can't keep up, can they? And you might not be able to increase your RAM and all that,
Yeah, so
which you need a lot of on music production.
which is why my MacBook Air does not get updated. And the other thing is, anybody that's running a laptop of any sort, use it as much as you can through the mains. That's the way to preserve your battery, because what happens is once your battery reaches 100% still plugged in, it instead of saying give me 15 amps to charge me and run me, it says give me 4 amps to run me, and then your battery doesn't die because it's been through too many cycles. So it's now a technology channel.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it was like the last one. We've covered a few bases, haven't we, tonight?
Yeah.
It's mad. So okay, so what we'll do, I think, then when it's done, and obviously Gary wanted, well, he's a professional singer. That's what he does for a living. He moved about halfway through making the album. He moved up to Bolton, and he plays on all the clubs up in Liverpool and Manchester and around that whole sort of area. Because the club culture is probably not as strong as it was, but that is still fairly strong in that sort of northwest of England. Whereas down the south, that's pretty dead now. And if you do go to the odd one of these sort of associated clubs or working men's clubs, they're just dead now because the young people don't go in them. The people that were frequenting them are sort of slowly dying off, or So yeah, it's another part of British culture going down the pan really, along with the pub shutting. But he's still doing all right up there, he's all right. So, but he was gigging tonight. But when we get it finished, and maybe we'll pop in on the call in, and and you can we can have a little chat about it, and you can air it.
Yep, definitely. We'll figure out a time whenever it's done and dusted. We'll figure out a time whenever you're both free. We'll carve out a slot. It's not going to be like the end of show call in type thing where it's just it'll be a organized slot.
Cool. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Understand that the both of you are musicians, just both gig. Your time constraints are what they are, and also, which is why I'm very grateful of you giving me the time that you can this evening. But we'll sort it out for a slot at whatever time it is you can do it, and we'll have that as a segment of the stream. or whatever.
Brilliant. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. No, it's been nice to. It's not. In fact, what I was about 6 weeks ago, somebody sent me an album to master, and they said to me, and this is the worst ever thing. Never say to a musician, "I was no rush for that." Never say that. And but he said to me, "Yeah, there's no rush for it. I'm just releasing something else that I was working on first. Then I'll be releasing this album later." Um, and it's still sitting there, and it's mastering. Yeah, it's all right. It's not as good fun as creating music. So I'll sort of put that on the back burner while I've been working on this as well. So yeah, never mind. And I still had it on me. All right.
Yeah. Oh, right. Can you ask what he thinks of chematics and if it affects music?
Right. What semantics?
Yeah.
Not. I don't know what that is.
Right. Okay. Right. Tim, I
It
don't need
doesn't
to-
fix it for me.
right.
No. If you could give a brief,
Yeah.
so that I have to Google it.
Ben, we can put that down as a no. It does not affect the music.
I'm not semantics. No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Oh,
what that is. Semantics.
yeah. I know what semantics is.
No,
That's,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's
that. Yes.
but they don't definitely do not affect the music.
If you don't know, it doesn't. Yeah.
It's no. Is there anything else on the list that
Well,
you're?
yeah, I think it's probably there is. It's probably a bit late now, and to carry on. So it's been we've done about 3 hours now, haven't we? So
Yeah, we'll have.
yeah, we still didn't get to the end of all the shite that I sent you. But hey, listen, I got the Israel one out there. Maybe another time I'll come back on and tell you about Canada, but we'll leave that for the future. That's
Yeah.
Canada was quite an eventful 4 months as well, touring that. But
So you did a tour. Was this with the Clan of Celts?
No, that was with Napoleons. That was with that's the thing. That was they were with the Hot Gossip Girl.
All right.
She didn't come, and anyway, we won't get into that. But we found a backing singer out there, and the drummer didn't come neither, and we found a drummer out there who was fucking awesome, brilliant. So it all worked out really well, and that was a very, very mad 4 months. When I came back from that, I couldn't really do anything for a year. I couldn't really function. I did it eventually. Fortunately, I managed to get back, and the girlfriend at the time could sort of look after me, financially and everything. But I was in no mental state to really do anything. And I've never been an alcoholic. I do like a drink, but that was the closest we really come to it. I was in a real mess and come back from there. It's a world of madness. It's really hard to describe. Imagine you going to Ibiza or somewhere with your mates for a couple of weeks and you're on it large, for those 2 weeks. And imagine doing that for 4 months.
Yeah.
You're shot. You're shot to pieces, emotionally and mentally and everything. And then someone offers you another tour, and yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I did turn down when we were in Finland in the 2000s, and I'd had enough. We'd done quite a lot of Europe stuff, and we were 2 weeks in Finland, and then the word came through while we were out there, saying we'd just been offered another 2 weeks in Germany, I think, for the winter stuff, and I just said I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any more foreign trips or any more foreign tours, and so we arranged. We got a dep in for me. I wasn't leaving the band. I just didn't want to do the tour, and by all accounts, it was a real hoot. And I'm glad I didn't. I had enough of it, and it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. But I did, and I haven't really done too many tours since that one. Uh, Gigs abroad, yes, fly-ins, but not the tours. Traveling in a van. No, just drinking all night, no sleep. Just the madness of the tour. Yeah, I was probably burnt out by about 2005, I think, with that, to be honest.
So, would you recommend music as a way to see the world?
Well, you can travel the world, you might not see a lot of it.
Yeah, well,
Right, yes, definitely.
the,
Definitely, yeah, without a doubt.
the,
Um,
there is that thing where a hotel in one country looks pretty much the same, and particularly a hotel bar, and bars look pretty much the
yeah,
same the world over.
yeah, yeah. Um, no, yeah, it's been amazing. It's been amazing times. So, I mean, some of these stories that I've told you, there's been years in between those things that have happened. And you think, well, there might have been a gap of 5 or 6 years where I haven't written anything down for it, because most of the time it was, there were no earthquakes. It was just you went onto you had the crack, It was great fun. All the gigs were good. Um, and that's it. There's not much to say about it. But it is brilliant. And I just noticed a question from was it Streaky Bacon? Was it about the ears?
Oh, but ear protection.
Yeah, yeah, right. Who was it asked the question? Was it Billy?
Uh,
But
yep.
it was
What
Billy
about your
Brooks.
ear? Military
Yeah.
ear protection. How does it work when you?
No, no, I don't. I can't stand it. Now, the technology of ear protectors for musicians is amazing. Now, you get these molded sort of in-ear plugs that don't diminish the sound or don't take away the top end uh, on stage, but you hear everything, all the frequencies. It just brings them down by a few dB. But what happened to me by about the mid-90s, I had lost some of the sort of high end of my hearing, and that's mainly being on stage next to cymbals. It's the high frequency things like cymbals or guitars that will do that. No, never the bass, of course, that won't do that. So I can't blame myself. But
Do
yeah,
you
it's sorry, mate, go on.
do you get any tetanus?
Um, no, not, thankfully, because I know so many people who have. Nothing that's lasting. I've done many, many gigs when we used to really play louder back in the day, where you'd come off stage and your ears would be ringing like mad. It'd be ringing, not really tinnitus, but you know, or you might wake up and you still have a little bit of it the next day. But fortunately, what did happen, my, a little bit of my hearing had gone, to the extent that if you're in a loud pub and there was music on and someone was talking, where before I would have been out here and focusing, I'd have to, what was that? Say that again. But, and I knew it was from playing in bands that did that. But fortunately, it never got any worse. And because if it had, I wouldn't be able to do music production. I wouldn't be able to mix or master. You have to
Did
be able to hear all those frequencies and put them in their correct place. And thank God I'm still okay. I've been very lucky because I didn't take any protection. I did try earplugs once for about 2 songs, and I just threw them out. For I can't play like that. It just sounds terrible with earplugs in. But that was before the sort of the new, you know, and they're quite expensive. So, I've played with a lot of people that use them. They love them. But I just never did. No, I've got away with it. I have to be fair.
did you ever come out after a particularly loud gig to find out that you couldn't hear at all?
God no, God that would scare me. That would no, that's not happened. No, ringing yes, but never a kind of temporary deafness. God no.
Well, if you get temporary deafness, it's because your natural defense system was kicked in. Now, to be fair, it would have been like riveters and stuff that had that. You know,
Yeah, yeah, but that constant high pitch and metal against metal.
yeah. Uh,
See something chat there, something like that. It's a duck, yeah. It's a program called Reason. It's Virtual Studio, Virtual Synths, and everything. Yeah, Reason. I know a couple of people that use Reason. I haven't used it myself, but it's like I always say with these things. You know, people talk about Pro Tools and Logic. They're your sort of more well-known programs. I understand Reason's pretty cool, but I have to reiterate that all these DAWs work pretty much the same. It's just the add-ons and plugins that you might have more of in some than others, and you might try one DAW and you instantly gel with it and you get it, and then you try another one and it just you think, oh, why is that over there? Why can't I bring that up? You know, so. But yeah, they're pretty much the same, and they're all brilliant. You know, to be fair.
right. Let's think. Anything else that you want to get to, or anything you want to promote where people can get in touch with you for like production or whatever?
Yeah, there's only the Proton Mail. I think you've already put it in the description. Al_Mac_music at protonmail.com.
Yep.
That's probably the best one to use. No, nothing else. Just some gigs, really. Hang on, did you get the ringing?
I think Hinky means in your ears.
Yeah, that's a little bit ringing. I've done some very loud gigs with some big PAs. No, no, that's great, mate. I just if anyone, so there's a couple of Clan of Celts gigs coming up. I'm not going to really mention about all the other gigs I do. I do play a little trio doing rock music from Muse to Led Zeppelin. Oh yeah, I said you didn't know about that gig last week. That was an absolute terrible gig. And I'll quickly tell you about that.
Yep.
So this was this band. I'm quite a young guy. It's just a three-piece. He plays guitars and sings, a drummer and me. I didn't start this band. I sort of got asked to do it as a dep, and ended up, doing all the gigs. So it's been all right. The money's okay. It's doing pubs mainly, but the money's been all right. So no problem. But we turned up to this place in Peterborough. It's near the Crescent Centre. I mean, it's a great big massive pub. Now it's one of the places you pull up outside it, and you know that drug dealing is going on in there. And I hadn't been in this place before, but I knew of it. I just knew it was going to be a shithole. So we were just talking to a few people outside. It was quite warm, and everything was cool. Everything wasn't too bad. But when we got in there, we were setting up, and this place is big. It could hold 200 people, and you probably need at least 50 people in there to create some kind of atmosphere. And I knew straight away that wasn't going to happen on last Saturday night. There was few people towards the back, but down towards the stage end of the place, there were four old, in their 60s, boomer Scottish guys, right? And when we started sound checking, and we were sound checking the PA for vocals, this one of these guys started going, "It's too loud. It's too loud. Why do you have to be so loud?" And I just knew. But the thing is, though, look, I'm Scottish. I know what these guys are like. They're just going to wind you up. They're just having the crack. They don't really mean anything by it. And but so we were basically playing to just these for the first set anyway, playing to these four geezers, and after every song finished, they would just go, "That's fucking shit. That's fucking shit. Doesn't sound anything like the person you're supposed to be singing." You know, and so the guy who sings in his band, he's fucking brilliant. He's a brilliant guitarist, great singer. But so I was just, they were cracking me up. I was laughing. I wasn't going to take that seriously. I know what these sort of guys are like. So I was just shouting back to him. I was going, look, I'm going to be signing autographs later. Do you want me to sign autographs for you? And I went, no, I don't want your fucking autograph. You know, it's just, I was just having banter with them. But it didn't get much better in the second set. And then they come up with some excuse saying, yeah, the boss isn't here, so we can't pay you. They'll pay you by bank transfer tomorrow. That money's not turned up, and the guy who runs a band singer, he's been chasing it all week, and that money ain't going to turn up, you know. So I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, if you if you want somebody with pretty good gesture power and fucking with their social, I might know somebody who could do that. That could help you out a wee bit with that.
It's mad,
Oh,
but yeah, it's a funny one. Yes,
oh,
yes, we all need a bit of help in that way. But yeah, so that's all I was really. Willow Festival next Sunday, and I think August the 5th, Stevenage, when they shut the whole old town off, and so that should be a crack. It should be nice.
yep,
I mean, I'm playing the soul funk disco band as well. We're gigging all the time, but that's some of that's private functions and that kind of thing. So there's no point in sort of promoting that. That has a life of its own. We've got a few festivals coming up with that. Oh yeah, okay. If anyone's, we're doing the Thorny Festival, whenever that is. I can't remember the date, but again, that's around the Peterborough area. For some reason, I'm driving up to Peterborough a lot these days. But there you go. So that's about it, really, on that side of it.
yep. And the Clan of Celts YouTube channels in the description. And if you look them up, you'll come up with where that does it looks like a really good live setup. So if you are anybody's out there that can get the concert, give it a whirl. And
Yeah, nice one.
any preference for outro song?
I'll leave it up to you, mate. I'll leave it up to you.
Right.
Maybe Stacey Lawler. I know we played it last time.
Yep.
But
Actually, yes,
and,
that's a good call.
yeah, and see if anyone keep a lookout and see if you can spot Sean Bean. That I can't fucking think of his name. Well, never mind. Anyway, but he was at the album launch, and Shane McGowan as well. See if you can spot them in the video. So, mate, but thanks for having me back on again. It's been brilliant. Really good old long chat. That's mad one. That's mad.
Really, really enjoyed it. Absolute pleasure. And thank you for giving me your time. And we will be in touch anyway because we've got this whole song thing going on. And
I'll keep you posted with that. And
Yeah.
as soon as I've got, might not be a final mix, but as soon as I've got something, I want to hear it as soon as possible. But want to make sure that certain things are in place on it anyway.
Yeah. Stacey Lawler, Clan of Celts official video. Share that up and hit play.
arranged a date the other night to a girl I met online. Her profile picture was so hot to me, she looked divine. I scrubbed and shaved and gelled me hair as the journey wasn't far. To meet her at the tavern, by the disco, by the bar. As I stood outside our meeting point, excited as I queued, heard a mighty crash from a window smash, saw a buck come flying through. As I shook me head to shake the glass that smashed to smithereens, and in black came on the attack and bounces, so it seemed. Now it was my beauty queen. She's Stacy Lotta, the six-down brother, the girl that has no fear. She'll fight and bite with all her might, a mind sweep all your beer. No, never look at her glass eye and never call her dear. She's Stacy Lotta, the six-down brother, she's the queen with the tune of ear. She thumped him hard and looked at me and said, "So you're the man." She grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and dumped me in her van. She drove pissed up past red lights and scared me half to death. Parked on the path, began to laugh with the raw meat on her breath. She dragged me to her bedsit, my forehead unkeyed the door. I tried to run, she tripped me up, me nails screeched along the floor. She stripped me bare and tied me down, I saw the notches on her bed. I said, "Are they your lovers?" She said, "They're the ones who's dead." Then she squatted upon my head. She's Stacy Lotta, the six-down brother, the girl that has no fear. She'll fight and bite with all her might, a mind sweep all your beer. No, never look at her glass eye and never call her dear. She's Stacy Lotta, the six-down brother, she's the queen with the tune of ear. It's a lying in me hospital bed, licking off me wounds. Ego has been battered, no longer in full bloom. Sure, I'm all wrapped up in plaster, the morphine's fighting the pain. But I'll never forget the horror of meeting an awful day. I heard she's locked in prison, freaking out as there's no booze. Actually, it's solitary confinement for beating up the screws. Me mates, they come and visit, but they just laugh with all their might. I wish it was them and not me who went on a date that night. She's Stacy Lotta, the six-down brother, the girl that has no fear. She'll fight and bite with all her might, a mind sweep all your beer. No, never look at her glass eye and never call her dear. She's Stacy Lotta, that six-down brother, she's the queen with the tune of fear. Once again, Stacy, Stacy Lotta, the girl that has no fear. Stacy, Stacy Lotta, the queen with the tune
There you go. The Queen with the chewed off ear. Thanks for that, mate.
Excellent. Oh, what was that? Right, I was getting music in my ear. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I normally at this point say Al's been Al, I've been 42, and you lot in the chat have as always been wonderful. But you know
Amazing.
what? Do you know what? See tonight, Toffee, a streaky, find somewhere else to have your fucking arguments. Okay? Uh, I'm trying to run a stream. I'm trying to read comments, and all I've had was used to all night fucking nick. Everybody's right to have an opinion, but keep that opinion the fuck away from me. Okay? Thank you, good night, and God bless.